So recently an article came out saying that men might be less inclined to consume vegan food due to it allegedly appearing less manly.
In what world?
And as a proud member of PETA, I just wanted to dispel that myth because there is absolutely nothing feminine about our organization.
Quite the opposite. Just yesterday, I was coming from my potluck.
Masculine ritual.
When Rachel's partner asked if there was anything other than soy casserole.
Rude.
That's when I stood up on a chair and said, "Attention, someone thinks they're too good for the casserole I took hours to make."
Trolling the situation, very masculine.
The man whose house we were at then said, "Who is this guy and who invited him?" And that he's bringing out the wings temporarily.
What?
So I began ripping up every paper plate while yelling, "If you don't want to eat the casserole, everyone can starve." How about that?
Physical strength and dominance. Those aren't easy to rip either. It took me 3 attempts when I was having a similar masculine outburst.
If that's feminine, explain to me why everyone at the potluck backed away immediately.
Honestly, if you look up masculinity in the dictionary, you're going to see me last week because after disrupting a barbecue, I decided to top it off with throwing some red paint at women's fur coats.
Nothing feminine about that.
When a man demanded that I apologize to a 7-year-old wife.
She did the crime, she can do the time.
So after denying the request, he got in my face and said, "Why don't we step outside unless you're chicken?" But after a couple minutes of me explaining we don't use the C word anymore, the man's wife said he's not worth it, and they just went back inside the event.
Didn't want that smoke.
So after I cooled down a bit, I rode my recumbent bike back to the clubhouse to tell the ladies what I'd accomplished, but they weren't listening to me, so to control the room, I stood on a chair and said, "Excuse me, I have something I would like to say."
I bet that got their attention.
Not quite. So after explaining a second time, using claps and snaps this time, the extent to which that elderly lady's night had been completely ruined, my mentor Brienne turned her head and said, "Good work, man. Not good work, woman. Good work, man."
Not surprised.
Before sending me to the store to grab nut milk for the gang because I am still pledging for the organization.
She knew you could handle the responsibility. By the way, have you mentioned to Brienne that it was my idea to change the term bullpen to arm barn? I think she'd like that.
Not quite yet, because I'm still taking a crack at having sex with her myself once she finishes midterm.
That's very masculine of you.
The boys. The BOYSCAST. The lads. It's the BOYSCAST. The dudes. Prepare yourself for BOYSCAST. The bros. It's the BOYSCAST. The homies. It's the BOYSCAST. The dudes. Experience the BOYSCAST. The BOYSCAST.
Boys, 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 boys. You knew what I was doing, right?
No.
Oh, really?
No.
The old Canadian national anthem that they used to have to make you play?
The old Canadian national.
You never had that one in your school?
No.
Bite, 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 ba, ba.
What?
Ba,
I'm learning there's
You never heard that?
I'm learning there's a new Canadian national.
No, it was like the one that they played in a lot of schools, and basically what happened was they would do these renditions of them.
Oh.
I think it might have been like Moxie Fervis or something weird too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I think there was a French part where you had to sit there like a fucking. They sing the French version.
I don't remember that.
Okay, listen. We've all heard about. I'm sure that you of all people have heard about this.
Yeah.
Girls will go on these Bali retreats, right?
Yeah.
And they find themselves.
My girl actually has. She goes, "I want to do one of these." She keeps saying she wants to do one of those like silent meditation treats. I'm like, I don't know if you could be 5 minutes without talking.
I mean, definitely that'd be a treat for you. It'd be
more treat, less re. You know what I mean? Yeah, she says that.
I would consider that a retreat.
Yeah, that is a retreat. Yeah, it's a mental retreat.
It's a retreat for you.
No fucking chance you're not talking.
They call you go, "Sorry, I'm on a retreat right now. I'm doing a retreat right now." It's like, what? It's like, well, she's meditating in the other room.
Pretty much.
This is what they're doing, by the way, when they do their... This is what it looks like, by the way. Okay, ready? So this is what they're up to. She is dispelling the urge to shop from her body. She says, "No, you don't need that bag." So she does this for about 3-4 minutes. Alex Byron said this to me.
Oh, that's Jolla. And she's not on ayahuasca or anything.
By the way,
she's not on some drug where she's like fighting the drug.
I don't know if she is or isn't, but I'll tell you what's even funnier is that doing that, but you also know you got your camera set up.
Oh, of course. Yeah, you're making content.
This is how women fight this is how women fight the urge to shop, though, basically. You go, "Ah!" A woman roaring is
I just love the people probably who work there who go home at the end of the day and goes, "How's work today?" Like you live in Indonesia and you're like,
another one came in,
another fucking
set up a dual camera setup. Ah!
They're like, listen, we're never moving to America. I don't care what you say.
You don't need another pair of shoes. The Kylie Jenner lip gloss does not need to be purchased. Ah! That's kind of what they're doing.
That's mental.
It is pretty mental, huh?
Just all chicks.
Isn't that pretty crazy?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what the kind of wacky stuff they're doing over there. But there is good news for the fellas, too, before... I'm not going to
I
go...
like good news for the fellas.
You do like good news for the fellas, you know what I mean? When you hear...
I like some good news.
Couples who have... And it's actually sort of related to you.
Yeah.
Couples who have expensive wedding rings are more likely to get divorced.
Ooh.
Did you have an expensive one?
It wasn't cheap.
Isn't that huge news? The study found... You tell me... Buddy... If I was about to get married, I'd have this fucking bad boy plastered all over my house.
Yeah. Although I will say, I read the thing and it was like because I was reading it as my girl was walking by. She goes, "What is that?" last night, like 1 a.m. She's like, "What is that?" And I go, "Oh, I'm just preparing for the show or whatever." And then but then I was reading it. It's like it says like any ring over, I think it was 1,500 pounds, like because it's like a UK thing or whatever. I'm like, you're not getting anything for that's a pretty wide subset of people at that moment.
Well, I think that what their kind of point is the lower maintenance the girl.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's the only way you could do it. Or there's probably two parts of it. One is lower maintenance the girl, and two might be that there's something about rich people maybe
for
getting
sure.
married
Yeah.
a little
Just
less.
it's a sort of rich people problem. But the wedding stuff did make sense, though, and they did say interesting. They go, there's no correlation between the honeymoon. They go wild on the honeymoon.
They said go wild on the honeymoon because if the guy gets to go on the honeymoon, where's the ring that he gets nothing out of his value?
Nothing.
And I think what happens, he holds that grudge for so long.
I don't know if I'll ever release it.
But that's what I'm saying. I think
I'm telling you, the only thing I get out of that ring right now is when people compliment her on it. I go, I bought it on Amazon.
Yeah, you get a bit out of it.
I got a one bit that is like getting pretty long in the tooth.
You think that's expensive? You should see the matching cock ring that I got myself.
I go, can you believe it? I even found.
You go, oh, it was more money. Well, it's a little smaller, so it's like,
yeah. I even found like a ring that looks like it on Amazon too, so I can pull it up quick.
You've been having a little fun time with yourself, haven't you?
That's all I get out of it.
That's all you get out of it.
Yeah.
However, the study did not find that the honeymoon is worthwhile. But I'm just saying, this article, you could definitely be having that puppy out and about. You know what I mean? When the topic of the ring comes up, you go, drop that. Oh my God.
I guess, yeah. Do we want to increase our risk of divorce?
Yes.
Or what do you think? And you know what's so deranged though is the chicks are so illogical. And they just that you could be like, hey,
this guy's been listening to some Pearl.
No, but literally you could be like, hey, look, this actually is going to increase, and they'll be like, yeah, I'll take the chances.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't think that's going to fucking twist too many of them out of the ring.
Yeah, you go, okay, so you can get a nice ring and increase our chances of divorce, or I'll get you like a wood one, like one of those wood
promise rings
or whatever, and they go, let's go with the diamond. Let's roll the dice.
I've gotten us matching Metallica. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you remember? Okay, so YouTube, by the way, just a few things has been happening to me. YouTube, every time I sign on to any of my channels, is trying to make me tell them it's my race.
Yeah. The diversity.
Don't fall for it. It's a scam, right? Like, legitimately, all you're doing is just sign up to get your channel choked.
Well, why don't you just pick a good one?
Well, you could lie, but I think that there might be some repercussions of lying. But that's the whole thing. It's like, if you're a white guy and anyone asks you your race, nothing good comes of that.
No.
There's no way, like, we're trying to get a couple more white guys in the fucking algo there.
Yeah, for sure.
All you're doing is signing up for them to choke your channel.
No, thank you.
It's like, why?
Yeah, I've been getting that too.
There's zero chance that you're worse off by ignoring that completely.
Yeah.
Because they keep demanding too. Everywhere at pop-up city, whoa, what race are you? What race are you? We need to know.
Look, they don't have
Everyone's asking.
Yeah, soon it'll just they go, yeah, your front-facing camera is going to turn on momentarily. Please just freeze, and then they just scan you.
They're definitely and they because I could. They don't know, right? You could be 1% black or something like that, right? They can't take that chance by just going out on it because that would be a scandal for them. But someone else told me. So okay, remember I told you that Uber, and this is the other one of companies that have been fucking grinding me a little bit.
How much you hate Uber?
Well, Uber
it's your
just
new Blink Fitness.
Well, yes, it is my new Blink Fitness.
Yeah.
And the reason is, the big reason is the guy's talking, but more importantly than that, they keep sending me advertisements to be gay, right? So I sort of mentioned this a few episodes.
Uber glory holes, you say? That's a new feature. He really is really trying to become the all-in-one app, huh?
It's not far off of that. Well, the first one is it's trying to sell me on getting hotels. It's trying to sell me on signing up for a hotel that's a picture of a guy banging another dude.
Yeah.
And the guy has fucking two guys' legs on his shoulders. And it's like, do you need a hotel?
Yeah.
And then
Now what are they getting at?
this is the new ad. I'll just show it to you. So this is, I pop up my thing, and someone from Patreon, by the way, also said that Uber's been sending some wacky shit.
Yeah.
And this is Uber. So last week they're sending me a hotel to bone dudes in,
Yeah.
and this week they're sending me new gay dating app, Archer. And the whole thing with this dating app is that it's a gay dating app where photos of the face are required. So at least it sees me as a classy gay man.
Oh, yeah, right, because Grindr's just all buttholes. Can't really get a sense for a guy strictly from the Ruby Starfruit.
But I don't even normally see that many ads on Uber.
Yeah.
So when I do see ads, it's literally just like, you want to blow a dude?
And now, do you think it's kind of like the Facebook thing where they just know you better than you know yourself, right?
Well, listen, it's a laugh cast today because we're all having a good laugh.
I mean, I'm saying I don't get these ads. All my ads are like, hey, you want to go to the Rippers and watch some fucking hot chicks take their clothes off, you fucking man? And I go, no, my girl won't allow it. But
wingsandbeer.com. Welcome to wingsandbeer.com. For men, by men, with men. Yeah. That's what they send you.
yeah.
No, I'm telling you, if I get one more gay ad, I'm fucking smashing my phone, dude. I actually don't. I look at mostly wing recipes. So not recipes.
Recipes. You need to reset your algo, or you're like Uber algo. You're like, why is there even
No,
one?
Uber's a gay company, man. The CEOs are always doing gay shit.
Damn.
They're always out there doing their gay shit, man. I don't know what it is. I mean, this is fucking Uber. They can't get ads from anything other than the suckadick.com.
Does this make you a Lyft man? Maybe that's how Lyft can differentiate themselves finally. They go, where do the not gay ones?
Ron DeSantis is going to use Lyft. Wears them. Okay. So the Argentina president,
Yeah.
pretty big deal, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And I thought it was
He's shaking shit up down there.
shaking shit
I
up.
for sure thought he wasn't going to get elected. When he didn't get the first election, and then they went to the runoff, and then I was like, they're going to do, I'm just like, they're going to do something shady here. And,
It did seem like it.
It seemed like
a lot of people were saying that they didn't put the voting machines, so it's like they're actually
paper ballots.
They're doing paper ballots, so you actually get an honest count, honest man's count.
We're not saying anything about that, YouTube. We're neither here nor there.
You're allowed to now. You
Are you?
Coachella, yeah.
Oh, well, there's an election.
I got to be honest.
The problem though is there's an election coming up, so they're gonna literally
They might
change
change it,
that and then retroactively apply it all.
That's a fucking good point.
Yeah.
And by the way,
they're gonna be like, hey, you're never allowed to have ever said that.
what'd you say about fucking hanging chats, bud? Once they said that it's allowed, it honestly wasn't that fun anymore.
Yeah.
Once they're like, just announcement to everyone. It's like a teacher being like, it is for the next minute, everyone's allowed to swear.
It's so weird.
And you're just like,
do you ever
fuck.
look at those? Do you ever look at those or get those YouTube they do for creators? They do like every week like a little video and they give updates. And then this week the update was like allowing more adult content, and so you can now monetize breastfeeding. And like it used to be that you couldn't monetize breastfeeding videos.
We should do. That'll be funny. We should just start a breastfeeding reaction channel.
Dude, honestly, you're like,
we just react to breastfeeding.
you say that, but like that's actually probably if one of the fellas is watching this wants to make a fucking killing.
Just a breastfeeding reaction channel, and you're just sitting there eating milk.
Just drinking milk. Just a big frosty glass.
That's so funny.
Dude, but literally they just changed it this week where they go, so you can now areolas are fine. Like, and they say in the video, they're like, areolas are totally
Well, I guess
fine.
my YouTube algorithm's screwed too, because I got a notification saying foreskin's good now.
But they're like, areolas are totally fine, but they're like, but the child does need to be present in the video. I'm like,
See,
well,
hey, I'll tell you what, it's the only nudity that's more acceptable with a kid there.
yeah, sure.
They go, hey, you got the tits out on camera? You go, there's a baby here. You go, all right.
But like, these are the kind of things they're up to in their meetings at fucking YouTube right now.
Oh, no, right.
Is they're having
Yeah,
these
that's
big
a good
debates
point.
are like, should we allow commercials on breastfeeding? And like, obviously all the guys are like, God, no, why? We don't allow commercials on a million things. And they're like, the chicks are like, it's natural, you have to. And then I don't know.
It's natural.
And then they just reach an agreement where they're like, yeah, I guess if the kid's in it, but I'm like, how could the kid not be in it? How's it breastfeeding? I guess they're just squirting like a squirt fight.
No. No, the kid's in it. The kid's sitting at the other side of the room, and they're fountaining it.
yeah. But he's off screen because you're like, I don't want to involve my kid in this.
Yeah. That's good shit. But
Yeah.
so the Argentina president, for me, it was so crazy because like me and Danny both like went to school for economics or whatever, right? So it was very, very reminiscent to like his speeches is shit from like first year economics, and probably even honestly, it's even more bad boy than like.
Yeah,
I guess
well, he has a lot.
We went to like more Austrian more Keynesian. This is a straight up guy doing like speeches on Austrian economics. He's like, production is the only measure of an economy's strength. These people produce nothing. I will say though, because a lot of libertarian dudes are about him, and I was kind of like, you're kind of like, oh, it's just like he's in a band before
he's
he was
in
like a
Rolling
musician,
Stones cover band.
and then he's kind of like a libertarian dude, and I'm like, he's like me, and then I watch his things, and he's like, these fucking motherfuckers, they need to die. They're trying to kill you. I go, well, maybe he's not exactly.
Yeah,
like me.
not really like me. I mean, I like his whole thing where he's like gonna get rid of all the bullshit. Like,
buddy, do you see him ripping up things?
Yeah,
the first day on
every
the job,
single thing. Afuera.
He takes down the fucking women's department. Hiya!
Yeah.
The breastfeeding the
council.
Breastfeeding
Gone.
council. Go.
All the diversity councils gone. Culture. But it's funny because you hopefully
The bureaucracy.
He doesn't go too far. He's like, Department of Motor Vehicles gone. You're like, all right, we might need that like a little bit though.
The Department of Department of making sure there's no feces.
Department
in
of
your food.
Justice gone. You go, all right, let's.
Wait, you're defunding the police now? Yeah, definitely. A little bit. He goes, the bureaucracy yourself out is what he told them. Yeah. But it was, you know what the thing is, and this is my kind of thesis of the next like a couple minutes about what I'm about to say, is that there's so many things that. Obviously, it's a lot easier to sell people on shit like this when things are going bad, right? And I even a little bit
Crazy
see
inflation.
like liberty and stuff like that a lot of times as more of like a medicine.
Yeah.
Because you could never, when things are going good, you can't sell people on, oh yeah, we're gonna get rid of like entitlements. Like, okay, any welfare shit.
Well, they have extra money kicking around. That's
things have to be going bad to get people on board with this, and then it's kind of a spectrum. It's like this things start going good, and people start being like, well, I want to taste. So.
Yeah, of course, and I mean they have extra money, and so you start. These are luxury things to have like a head of diversity, whatever, and some and they just all these.
It's people that don't have jobs to do, so they need to make them.
Well, they make jobs, and then they also just they have lots of money, so they go, hey, let's spread this around, lots of social services, but then you get so bloated and have hyperinflation and stuff, and they have to like. Get rid of all that stuff.
And you're seeing
useless.
And you're seeing the bloating everywhere, and that's why I have some examples of it. But I was thinking that it kind of is hopefully he does a good job, because if in 5 years this economy is like really in shit and everything's worse, it'd be like, do you remember in Canada the NDP, which was kind of like the socialist one?
Yeah,
they basically were in charge of one of the states, and essentially they did such a bad job, and they sold off the highway and all.
Wasn't
this
it Alberta? Yeah, didn't they like get a?
No, in Ontario they sold off. They sold off the highway, and like legitimately no one's forgotten about it. Like they've never been forgiven.
Well, it's because it's one of those.
It was almost like that's the end of them ever winning ever again.
Yeah, it's because they spend spend like $1 billion on a highway, and then they just go sell it for like $300 million, and you're like, sick
worst
deal, guys.
And everyone's always reminded, because it's one of the highways that people would drive to work, and every day you drive by and they're like $25, and you're just like,
yeah.
So if this guy really shits the bed, that's probably the end of candidates like that for a long time.
If that guy really shits the bed where Argentina's at, that's just the end of Argentina. So it's almost like you kind of can't.
Well, yeah,
because they're so. I mean, he only got elected because things are so bad that everybody probably threw their hands up.
He looks like he's from the 70s. This guy.
Yeah, he's got the weird, like, what was it? Like the Beatle kind of haircut?
He's got the Beatles haircut.
Kind of, with like the big pork chops, like the mutton.
That's exactly what
he's got. Chops or whatever. But I mean, yeah, I'm not sure how much damage he can do. I know he wants to instantly get rid of the peso and go dollarize their economy. I don't know how easy that
Every
is.
time I have pesos, I want to get rid of them too.
Yeah, I think everybody does. But yeah, he wants to like change it so that they use the US dollar there.
I heard that.
Yeah, but everybody said because they're like, because he goes like because he doesn't like the federal central banks and they can print money. But you're like, but the U.S. has their own central bank that they're gonna print money, and now you don't even control it. You don't even have any say in that. That's your dollar. And they can just do whatever they want with it, and you just use it. I guess it's more stable than their currency, so they go.
It seems like there's not very much that's not more stable than their currency. I mean, the full version would be if he goes, "We're going Bitcoin," but that's not worked great for the other guy.
No, that's not gonna. Yeah, I don't know.
But there's kind of like with every problem, I think there's two types of people, and it probably is a little bit masculine and feminine or whatever, but you go, people who think that they can innovate their way out of problems and people think that they can regulate their way out of problems. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you can even see it's like, if you say global warming, whatever you think about it, half the people are like, hey, we're going to solve this with like new innovations and new technology and stuff like that. And the other people that'll be like, we'll regulate.
Yeah.
And it's such a microcosm of the two different sides of everything. But I'll just point to a couple of some of the things that governments, what they look like on the other side of the spectrum. So right now, and that's why I say you go, maybe try something new. You know what I mean? So local residents they rage because Joe Biden plans to release grizzly bears near communities. So this is what meddling governments get you.
So he doesn't have enough on his plate.
You go, hey, listen, maybe it's worth trying the libertarian guy. You go, well, what's your guy doing? You go, he just released 200 grizzly bears. Well, they have the releasing grizzly bear department.
Just 200 grizzly bears, and people are like, yeah, how do the grizzly bears like for sure stay where you release them? They go, they don't. They might show up somewhere else.
It is, especially with all the stuff that's happening. You know what I mean? There's like 14 wars they're into.
I mean, they should just make it not super illegal to kill the grizzly bears. I think that's the problem, is because it's super illegal to kill them.
Sort of like a protected class.
Yeah, they are a protected class, and you're like, well, you're going to release them, and then...
You know what's crazy to think? Well, it's basically, the thing is they're saying sort of this is where they belong, and they're running out of grizzly bears, so they need to, get the grizzly bears.
They don't have like a preserve, like a wildlife preserve that they could put them on?
Well, everyone that lives in this area is like, please don't.
Yeah.
Well, I just like to think of, think about it in like 3 years, it's like Biden releases all these grizzly bears, and then Bill Gates has mosquitoes, and you're living in this, you go, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah.
You're just getting the mosquitoes all over yourself, and you're like, what?
I mean, I know this is probably like kind of doesn't work because of the climate, and maybe it's a little cruel, but if they release the grizzly bears at the southern border, that might fix two problems.
Oh, now you're fucking thinking, huh?
Yeah, just leave them all on the southern border and go, hey, let's, whatever happens. Just as long as they stay in America,
That's also Danny's name at the bathhouse, Grizzly Bear, for those of you who have been paying attention. According to an official, the bears are part of local heritage, but the people in the locals, a lot of them are saying, we don't care. Yeah. We don't, I promise you we're fine without the local heritage. Yeah. Well, actually, this lion is actually part of the local heritage. We're going to release him on the street.
Apex predator is the part of our local heritage. And you go, okay.
Almost extinct in the 20th century, and the locals are ever firmly against the plan. So locals are not pumped about all the grizzlies.
This is what zoos are for. I know zoos, but I feel at some point you go, okay, yeah,
let me ask you a question.
Throw them in the zoos.
Are we still running out of bees? Because I remember I was hearing a lot about bees fucking 10 years ago. Just there's a lot of things you hear a lot about.
Yeah, the whole world was screwed because there was no bees, and bees are they need them for
We're
everything.
old enough now to have been through 90 doomsdays that never happened.
Sure. Yeah.
There was a while where it was every article, the amount that you see climate change articles now, you were seeing bees are missing articles.
Yeah, well, that was kind of related. But
yeah.
Yeah, no, I think there's bees.
Well,
I see bees.
I see them around.
Yeah, they're around. I had a meal recently where I was being pestered by a bee. Yeah, you know what I was thinking during that? I wish there was less bees.
It's kind of like a guy from the 70s. You're like, are there still guys that are just super into Pink Floyd, and that's their whole identity? And then you see them every now and then. They're still there.
Yeah.
The bees are still cooking. So that's one.
Okay.
Biden's putting grizzly bears. Corruption. So this is what he's fighting. Corruption.
Yeah.
OnlyFans model claims the Congressman George Santos was a subscriber and paid her to rate his dick. So that's what your money's going to.
That is gay, though.
I thought so too, but
he's gay. I guess sometimes you
maybe it's a guy model.
No, it's a chick. It's like a big fat chick.
What the fuck?
I guess sometimes you just need an unbiased dick rating, you know?
Yeah, maybe he's just going.
He's like my boyfriend keeps saying that it's just like the hugest perfect piece, and I don't believe him. So I just need someone who's got a little meanness in them to just tell me what the dick's like.
It has nothing to do. Yeah, it's just
It's annoying though that she said she rated the dick, but didn't say what the rating was.
I was looking for the rating as well.
Wouldn't that be amazing in the next election where there's like everybody's doing their attack ads and the guy's like, George Santos has a 1.3 out of 10 dick rating. Is that who you want as your congressman? It's 2 inches wide and 2 inches long. Is he suitable to run the Congress?
Yeah, that's a good attack ad. He says it's a hammer. But it's more like a nail. Some might even say a thumbtack.
Yeah. All black and white, the red glowing eyes.
Yeah, so.
All right, well, that's good.
But yeah, so that's what your funds are going to, because apparently the whole thing is he took campaign funds to buy the dick ratings.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
So you got bears, you got campaign
you see how
funds.
fucked this city is, man? You see what's going on? You see Cardi B not happy what's going on in the city?
What happened? Sorry, say that
You
again?
didn't see the thing? Cardi B's basically is like no longer on the Biden train because New York. So New York.
I know I have that in here to talk about.
Oh, right.
That's in. Well, no, it's in this
in the
section.
pack. Yeah, that's
in
right.
my section of government
I
outreach.
figured it was in this.
Oh, buddy,
in the pack.
It is definitely in the pack. This is, to be honest, this was kind of be the coup de grace, but it's fine.
Yeah.
This is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life.
And you know what it is? I didn't know this.
What the fuck is going on?
Our buddy.
Tell them. Tell the people.
Okay, so basically, the southern border is the refugees are coming in the city, New York City. So New York City has a thing. I didn't know this actually. So our boy from LaRue in Toronto, they were here a couple weeks ago. They had a movie premiere, and it's about this documentary called "Someone Lives Here," and it's really good actually. You can check it out. It's about like the Toronto homeless crisis. But there was a guy from New York who runs a thing, and so New York has a thing called duty to house or something in New York, where New York, like most cities, if you're homeless, they have like shelters and stuff, and if the shelters are full, they're full, and they go, hey, sorry, like.
Whereas here they give you like a hotel.
Here they have a law since the 60s, which I think is probably like a good law in that they're like, we won't allow people to be homeless, we'll find you somewhere, even if it requires them to temporarily like put you up in a hotel. But what they didn't bank on is that the southern border, which is like a federal issue, literally just like is wide open, everybody comes here, and now the city has to put all these migrants up.
I did not know that you were going to say this. I'm talking about something completely different.
No, that's what it is. So now they're cutting. Oh yeah. So anyways, but now
talking about the quarantine thing.
Oh, not the quarantine. No, that's an even crazier. No.
I thought that was the coup de grace.
No, not the
I
quarantine.
think I blew my load on this.
No.
As you were saying.
No, but dude, but so now the city,
I was like, this
dude,
is
the
not
city
what I was talking about.
The city of New York now, because they're running out of money because of this specific issue, is they're like, we're cutting back on police. They're like, we can't afford the police anymore.
Oh, come on.
Yes, they're like literally.
I'm back. It's crazy,
dude. They're cutting back police. They're literally cutting back on all social services. They're closing libraries on Sundays now. All libraries in New York City.
So these guys could stay at the Shangri-La.
But whatever. It's just like, it's first off, I don't even, like, New York City is fucked because they can't do anything about it because they have a law that says they have to house these people. And
what if they start doing putting them in the ottomans like in Seinfeld?
In the drawers?
Or they give them like,
Japanese
5
drawers?
beds to a thing or something like that.
That's not the law. The law is
they get their own house?
They get a hotel. Like that's the whole thing. They're all near.
You know what?
There should be an
app. There should be an app that tells you when shelters are full, so you can go get a free hotel.
Yeah,
that would be an app. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because in Toronto, like that was the whole thing in this movie.
And on top of ideas, how about this? A guy that's doing semen retention, but it's retaining it in his ass.
Listening.
So those are the two ideas that I came up with.
All right, pretty good. But anyways, Cardi B was like, because she's from New York. And so she's basically,
where's my fucking hotel?
No, not where's my hotel. She goes, what the fuck is going on with this city? Like Joe Biden, like you could fund 2 wars, but now like you're closing libraries. Like literally all libraries in New York City are now closed on Sundays because of the migrants.
Wait, is it not so they could sleep in the library?
No, they can't afford the libraries.
Bookworms, these guys.
Gotta take a day off from the fucking study, fucking dweebs. But they like literally can't afford to keep libraries open in the city because of the migrants.
That's fucking
pretty crazy because
knucking futs.
And also, Mayor Adams was,
So you're right. That is some
Mayor
government
Adams
overreach.
Yeah, Mayor Adams is literally like the refugees are ruining the city. You're like, damn, Trump wouldn't even say that. Shit, dude.
Whoa.
That's wild shit.
Okay, so that's out of control.
Yeah, but it's crazy because.
And by the way, I'm paying
as-
for that. Actually,
Yes.
people always say they pay for. Could we pay the 7% tax to live in the fucking city?
Yes.
That's the one that stings the most when people say tax is a ripoff. When you pay that extra tax for the city, you're just like, that's when I literally turn into like a Cody.
Yeah.
Where I fucking chug a Monster Energy drink and I punch some fucking holes in my wall.
Sure.
And I didn't even have a fucking drywall. I only had cement walls, so I just broke my
you
wrist.
broke your hand, and now you have to go to the hospital. And you go, that's not going to be cheap.
7% to live in the city.
Yeah.
Buzz off.
Yeah, so you can, and again, I'm not even against the housing homeless people thing, but this is the
You just don't want them in fucking my neighborhood.
No, it's just like
That's
this
what
is
you
the-
said to me before the show started.
through gritted teeth. But this is the federal government's fucking this up because they should be enforcing the border, right? And because they're not enforcing the border, the city's paying.
You're
the
saying
price.
the giveless homeless guys. But again, okay, how about this though? If you don't already know about Butcherbox, you're living in a box. I'll tell you that much. We like two things. We like box and we like Butcherbox. And we like Lenny the Butcher, Toronto comedian.
Yep.
Now listen,
Shout out.
Butcherbox has all you need for tasty, stress-free holiday season with high-quality protein delivered right to your door. I'm going to tell you a few things about Butcherbox if you don't already know. You easily find high-quality meat and seafood you can trust. 100% grass-fed beef, free-range organic chicken, pork-raised, crate-free, and wild-caught seafood. This is the real deal here, folks. You're not messing around with Butcherbox. This is a man's supply of meat. And on brand for this episode too, because we were telling you that it's a little bit feminine
Yep.
to be against the box.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Delivered right to your doorstep. Free shipping as always. Curated to custom box plans. Variety of high quality cuts at an amazing value. Exclusive member deals. That's something I bet you didn't know about. Recipe inspiration, guides, tips, and hacks. The best deal of the year. And for the first time, customers can choose which steak they get free for a year. You don't want to be in the grocery store guessing all over the place.
No, I'll tell you what steak it won't be.
What?
A mistake.
You need to be. You know what they call that? A copywriter.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. You're not going to catch me not eat a steak. That's one thing. If you want to,
No.
you might catch some seafood that I might eat. And when you do, I'm not going to be having only a couple pieces either, because I'm a seafood diet. I eat it.
I seafood, I eat it.
They got deals here that you're not just seeing everywhere, especially where you can choose the free product. So some people want to talk about Black Friday, but Butcherbox has amazing deals any time of year. This is the real deal. I'm a big chicken guy, but I'm also a big steak guy. The chicken's just a little easier to prepare for me personally.
Yep. Yeah.
But-
I like them all. I like the
nothing.
roasts. I like the steaks, the strips, the chicken breast, the pork chop.
You fucking name it,
Oh,
he's
I'm
eating it.
drooling just talking about it.
This Black Friday, your search for amazing deals on high-quality protein ends with Butcherbox. They're offering the best deal of the year. Choose your free steak for a year. Choose between 2 New York strip steaks, filet mignons, or ribeyes to get free in every box for a whole year when you join. Sign up at butcherbox.com/boyscast and use the code boyscast to choose your free steak for a year and get $20 off. That's butcherbox.com/boyscast. Use the code boyscast to get this special Black Friday deal plus $20 off. And I gotta tell you about AG1. Now, this is something that I take. This is the first thing I do every single morning. I have a little bit of a routine. I have a coffee, AG1, and a bit of a shake. AG1 is the first thing that goes down the gullet. This has a mild tropical taste, I believe.
Yep.
So I'll tell you what, because
Amazing.
even some of the shakes I've been doing, I
Yeah.
get a little sick of, and I get sick of things. AG1, I'm not yet sick of it.
Yeah, because it's kind of so mild. It's not.
It's just the perfect amount, sort of.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
And it's a foundational nutritional supplement that supports your body's universal needs like gut optimization, stress management, and immune support since 2010. AG1 has led the future of foundational nutrition, continuously redefining their formula to create a smarter, better way to elevate your baseline health. I don't know a single person that was on AG1 that has stopped it. And if they do that, it's very temporary.
Yeah. Yeah. And silly.
And silly. So it's a perfectly not sane thing to do.
Yes.
Not only did I replace multivitamins, I don't even think of multivitamins. I have a multivitamin thing. It just sits in there, staring at me. I go, I don't need you anymore.
Goes, Ryan.
And I go, listen.
Why don't you take me anymore? You go, I don't need you.
I go, listen. I'm with AG1 now. I've been with AG1.
It's over.
You got, and it's been 2 years now. You got to get over it. AG1's got a team of doctors and scientists. It's tested for 950 contaminants, NSF certified for sport, and it's formulated based on the latest science and maintains high quality standards. AG1's the supplement I trust to support my body's needs daily, and that's why they've been a partner of the BOYSCAST for so long. If you want to take ownership of your health, it starts with AG1. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3, K2, and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/boyscast. That's drinkag1.com/boyscast to check it out. This is kind of the homeless thing in general. It's all, and this will actually, you know what? So I'm going to save my quarantine one and say the one that I was going to say. Toronto spends
quarantine is one of the most wacky things, by the way, ever. But yeah, go.
Toronto spends over $33K to put the city branding on free crack pipes and drug use kits. So they have a department.
Yeah, I'm like becoming an anarchist. This is making me crazy.
Well, this is what I'm saying, though, and this is kind of what I was saying with like the drug stuff and the homeless stuff, where I know you're saying you're for, but I think the thing that people don't realize is a lot of times, even with the drug stuff, people always go, well, it helps. It's like, but they never factor in the detriment, the deterrent for future. It's like, the truth is, if you have a ton of drug addicts, there isn't a ton that works. Like you're talking about this works better and this works better, and what you're talking about is negligible differences, right?
Yeah,
it's really hard to get people off drugs.
And I know they're doing this is a safety.
What you can do is make it harder for when a new generation looks at it. You know, if you're younger now and you look at it, you go, "Oh, it sucks to be a fucking homeless drug addict."
Sure,
you're less likely to do it. So the same as border stuff. Like a lot of it is, crime. Even a lot of it is not just like justice for that person. A lot of it is like. So the next guy's like, okay, if I do that, I could potentially fucking go away for life, right?
Yeah.
So when you're talking about, ideally when something you don't want in society, you kind of want to make it at least like a pain in the ass to do.
Right. But I guess the other side of it is they go, well, if we give them needles, then our hospitals aren't filled with people who are just getting these like, gangrene from using like a bad needle.
Well, a lot of it is to stop the spread of AIDS.
Or whatever, that too.
Well, that's like a huge part of it, right? So that they don't want it to spread AIDS. So that makes sense, right? But the problem is, this is the thing though. When the government gets involved, especially some of these like real fucking, socialist governments, right? They have, exactly how this shook down. They're like, okay, we need to get some branding on there. It's like, well, the artist who, resizes the logo, that's 7 fucking G's.
And,
you know what I mean?
And not only that, because people are like, why did they need branding on their crack pipes? Just give them the crack pipes. Like, why does there need to be this sticker that costs $33,000? But I'll tell you why, because I had a friend who worked.
Yeah, tell me why.
Because they have these budgets that have to be spent. I had a friend who worked at the Peel District
Rip
School.
it down!
Dude, I had a friend who worked at the Peel District School Board.
Peelers District School Board.
Like 15 years ago or 20 years ago or something. And she told me that one year they had a bunch of money left over in their budget, and they got she's like, we had so much money left over that had to be spent, because if you don't spend it, then the next year they go, oh, we're reducing your budget.
Well, yeah, I know that.
You don't need it, right? So then they spent $12,000 on chocolate business cards. Everybody got chocolate business cards for $12,000, because they go,
you grinding my gears here, pal.
Dude, it's not even like we're like, well, we have business cards, so we can't just buy more business cards. You can only give them, but what if you could eat the business cards?
My fucking skin crawl.
They're like literally edible business cards.
Dude, this shit, as like someone that tries to run things pretty efficiently in my own life, and I'm always kind of looking at how to, make this run more smoothly, and what if I do this? Working with the governments at different times in my life, like when I did my series there, and I worked for the city, because I worked I was like a referee and at the hockey arena and stuff like that. So I've had quite a bit of expertise working with governments here and there, and I've had to do grant stuff, and it was like these people, you leave the meetings and you just fucking you walk in there and you just be like, okay, we'll do this and this, and you walk out there being like, I mean, we might need a committee to talk about it for a while, and you go, wait a second. They put you in a trance where you're like, well, we're gonna need I'll tell you what else works like that a little bit sometimes is unions. And I'm not This is my take on unions. I'm not really like pro or against. My take on unions is sometimes they're really good and sometimes they're really bad.
Yeah, sometimes they can be.
Because the truth is, it's like they're probably good in a scenario where people can really get taken advantage of, and in a scenario where it's not, all it does is make it harder for the business to run, and just like it straight up just becomes regulatory capture to kick people out.
Yeah.
Like for example, sometimes in acting, all it means is like a ton of actors will never be able to be in anything, but these people go from making 70 grand to making 120 grand.
For sure, and you get health benefits, but again, it's just like it's still only like the top, like for acting specifically, it's like the top 10% get health benefits.
Yeah, I think those are the unions I probably don't like, where it's not about normal people.
But there's ones where it's like bad working conditions where you go, hey, I work in this factory and I'm like inhaling this crazy shit because we don't have a union.
But that's what I mean. I think the ones that kind of affect like normal people and jobs that a lot of people have but ones that are about like you're like so lucky to get this job.
Yeah.
It's like those ones end up just causing more harm than they're good. And because I'm doing like these theaters for the tour, like the Toronto one, for example, it's like everything has to be a union guy, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, I think I want to play like a video before. And they were like, oh, we got to get the video guy. And that's another union guy.
Yeah. He goes, hey, wake up the video guy. He's sleeping right now. Hey, Johnny.
So a video guy, they're like, that guy's like $800, right?
of course.
And then they're like, and then so they quoted me like $2,500 to play a video, and I was just like, okay, what if I just bring my thing and hook it up to the screen, and my guy will do it? And they're like, oh,
that's gonna get the ire of the old union reps. Yeah, we're not gonna be able to do that. We'll be in a lot of trouble,
buddy. I'm telling you, every little thing. You're just like, okay, I'm gonna want intro music. When we walk up, I'm sending my thing. They're like, oh, the intro music guy. Oh, is that gonna be an MP3? Oh, that's a whole different union.
Ooh, yeah, they tacked on a big fee on MP3s back in 2015. So
it actually does.
What if I bring you a CD? You go, we don't do that anymore, but that would have been cheaper. Yeah.
You tell these people at the theater, you're like, I think I'm gonna do a meet and greet. They go, the fucking heads almost explode. They go, that might be 50. We need 15 security guards, and those guys are fucking 1,500 a piece. So, guys, the fact
got to get greased, man.
when you go, hey, you have a big screen there, and I want to put a video on, and you're up to $3,000. You go, okay, well, this one's fucking out of control.
Yeah, you got to bring your own projector and just like from like one of those Pico.
Well, that's what but you can't though. Union rules, buddy.
Yeah, what
if I say that, I'll shut it down. Shut it down. Dude, I'm gonna have some guy with some union guy is gonna show up with like a mafia outfit, and he's gonna come with a club and just smash my projector, smash my vocal cords. He's like, hey, funny man, I hear you're trying to put your own projector on the screen. Yeah. Hey, boy,
trying to take food out of my kid's mouth, huh?
But it's a comedy union, so they're all kind of like, or it's the theater union, so they're all just like, hey, boy, this guy thinks he can just put his own projector on the screen. What do we think, boys? They're all snapping. Hey, funny man.
Oh, man.
Not so funny now without your vocal cords, are we? They shave your head.
But I mean, I guess they make it. That's how they do it. Is they just make it where it's like it's hard to get in the union, but once you're in, it's this plum gig.
It's a plum gig, but I think those ones. I mean, I've seen it in acting. I've been in the union, and you're just like, yeah, this is a sweet deal. That it's like legitimately making it impossible for anyone to make something. No one gets in, and because I'm on the top 1% or whatever, I'm in. And you're just like, yeah, I guess this is just regulatory capture for me.
And you probably go to like the SAG or the actor offices, and there's 4,000 people who work there, and they're all just like doing nothing, but they're all making a wage. Just
I think the working class
siphoning off like
unions probably help a little more when they're like jobs that are more like normal.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree.
Well, it's the same with
like
the
if you work in a factory.
The city's the worst one though, and when you work in the city, if you're that's what everyone always says. It's like that used to be the big thing everyone says is like you work really hard till you get in the union, then it is fucking chilling till death.
Yeah, you can't be fired.
Apparently the only thing you can get fired for is falling asleep on the job. That was like the only thing. So guys would
because it's like a safety thing.
Something. I actually never got further than what you can. To be honest, I never got to the bottom of it.
Probably the only thing they can say is like, hey, you endangered someone's life. We can fire you for that. But if you're just doing a bad job, they go, okay, well, do you think you could do a better job? And you go, I'll try. And they go, all right, well, I'm just going to write down that we had this conversation. So.
That's generally what happens. Yeah, I'm sure there's lots of people that fell asleep that didn't, but that was the old thing. It was like you could never get fired once you got the thing. The people that were in like the union for the city, Those guys were legitimately, they had their lawnmower was on just like a golden throne. Like they would just be driving around.
Yeah.
They would just do like one square at a time, and you just be like, hey, it was the last 3 hours and you only did one patch, and you're just like, union rules, I
Yeah.
can't work more than.
And I mean, they probably do partially come from if some keener. If you work too hard, then they go, well, there's always this assumption where you can, well, I guess you could maybe work a little harder, and then they go, whoa, like
What the fuck did you just say to me?
But they were like, I
Hey,
was
boy!
working. You're like, I was actually working really hard. Don't try and like milk every drop out of me. So then they go, okay, well now I'm gonna have to work less hard because you kind of took advantage of me because I was working hard, and then you were trying to make me work harder. And I go, so now I'm working less hard, and that's the new baseline is just less than originally.
Sure.
Yeah. So
If I said I wanted to put a laser pointer at the screen at my shows, that would be 50 grand. Yeah, so
good stuff.
but again, there are probably times when they're good or whatever, right? But this other thing that honestly, there's a couple things that I was having trouble figuring out. But the New York Democrats exposed Plan for Everyone quarantine
This
rule
is
213.
insane. I thought this was.
My mind is blown.
Yeah, I can't believe.
Color me mind blown.
Yeah, I was reading about this too. I could not believe this was real.
Okay, so what happens is they've been going back and forth kind of in secrecy. It hasn't been getting a lot of press, but basically they're trying to do this everywhere, but New York's like the fucking breeding ground.
Yeah.
And what's happening for starters is they're passing a rule that if you, for any reason whatsoever, the government can come to your home and decide that you need to quarantine, take you to a place legally,
Yeah.
and then lock you in
And
for 2 weeks.
physically remove you.
Physically lock you
And
in
I
for
think
2 weeks.
I don't even know if it was 2 weeks. I thought it was for however long.
For however long they want.
Yeah.
There are no age restrictions. 2, it can happen at any time. There is no due process. No limits are set. You are correct.
Yeah.
You will be forced to take whatever drug they say, even experimental drugs, and they don't have to rely on tests to determine which drug.
Yeah. It's insane.
I'll tell you
I
what.
for sure was like, I
didn't believe it. I didn't
Yeah,
get it. People kept sending this to me. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I looked into it. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, and it's kind of trending on Twitter a bit today, and like I was.
So it's just popping off now.
It's kind of it's crazy that they think
Well, it
they're
got
just
shot
gonna
down and then it went through.
Yeah, it's crazy that they think they're just gonna like kind of do this, and people are not gonna be mad about it. And it's for the whole state of New York.
I'll tell you what, I wish this is one of those things where I wish a motherfucker would try.
Yeah, try
I
it.
promise you this.
Try it.
If the government comes to my house, forcefully takes me to a place and puts me in a quarantine for 2 weeks against my will, I assure you, without a shadow of a doubt, I leave that quarantine with 2 million followers. That is a fucking...
They are not gonna like the podcast that I start.
My friend, I would love that. I will be because I would be kicking and screaming so much, right? I'd be like, yes, please find me for my joke, please.
Sure, yeah, but then they're also like, yeah, you're not allowed to bring your phone in. That was one of the other ones.
Well, if I can't bring my phone in, okay, fair. Why can't I bring my phone in?
I don't know. The same reason why they're going to inject you with drugs against your will. They go, I don't know. We make a lot of arbitrary rules.
If they didn't let me bring my phone in, I would actually fist fight them. You got to be fucking kidding me if you think I'm separating me from the good shit.
From the phone, yeah. I mean, that's
cruel and unusual punishment.
This is wild. Considering, I guess Kathy Hochul was elected, and she was not elected the first time around.
And these doctors are all quacks, right?
Give us Cuomo back. Cuomo would have never done this to us.
I don't know what Cuomo would have done with this, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. He did kill all those people in the nursing home and
Buddy,
do a lot of worse
these
stuff.
doctors, so they're onto some real wacky stuff, and it's like these quarantine truthers, right? Like they think quarantine's still the fucking future. And
this isn't even COVID related.
But the conspiracy is that they're gearing you up for something really bad that's coming, which I might just be like some people that have been pushing this for 2 years, and finally somehow they've found some legal loophole to make it work.
Yeah, I wonder when this started. Like when they started trying to propose this. Like was this during COVID, and then now like we're 2 years later or whatever, and then like that's the length of the process. So they're like, well, we already started kind of.
That's what it does seem like, but there's probably a more conspiratorial angle of that. A lot of these doctors do more of the harm than good, man. You come in and you're just like, hey, my back hurts. And then they go, okay, I'm going to give you a week of fucking heroin, but you promise me you're going to stop doing the heroin after the week? Hey,
Yeah.
promise me after the week's done, you're getting off the smack. Promise me. Okay, how much you need? I'm going to give you the good shit, too. This is the real deal. We got a little fentanyl in there, too. I love that for the boys.
Arbitrary quarantine is insane.
That's crazy. The what?
Yeah.
That's what they do in China.
That's what they do in China, he says. Yeah. But like, I honestly couldn't believe what I was seeing, and I'm surprised that it hasn't been more of a thing.
Yeah.
Maybe it just got passed this week, but they're burying the lead on these stories too.
Yeah, this is insane.
So when you have that stuff going, I'll tell you what. What's his name? Probably ripping down that board too. He goes, the Argentina guy.
Yeah, the quarantine
board.
The COVID council.
COVID council's done.
Afuera.
He's the guy's foaming at the mouth in the interviews, eh? Afuera.
Yeah, he's wild.
Wild boy. Here's another one. This is what they got going on in Germany. Germany passes. So I basically, if you haven't figured out the format, I have a bunch of things that our governments are doing all over the world that are insane.
Yeah.
Took me a while to put this together. Germany passes Children's Rights Amendment, but these are all things that just happened now. Amendment promoting sexual self-determination that was written by a serial pedophile. So this guy is like this guy's like a real known pedophile.
Yeah.
Right?
He's literally like a Nambla guy. He's like a German Nambla dude.
And then he basically has this bill that's sort of like the start of like, well, children should be allowed to make their own sexual decisions, right? Yeah. Honestly, I feel like this guy...
He's not even coming at it from like the trans stuff either. Like he's not even trying to be like, hey, we should let kids like decide whether they want to like,
No, yeah.
like, transition, and then he goes, well, if we're allowing them transition, it also makes sense to just give them, sexual autonomy at that age as well. He's just like, is this about the trans stuff? He goes, trans what now? What? No. I just think a 13-year-old should be able to consent.
He is 100% the guy in the boardroom slipping a thing in.
Yeah.
And honestly, I feel like this guy goes back to NAMBLA and he was like, I honestly can't believe that worked.
Guys, you won't believe it.
Because they're just like, so are you in any other organizations? He's like, am I in any other organizations?
Yeah. I guess
this guy's been at every meeting basically being like, and they're just like, okay, and then we're gonna do a new bill that to stop climate change, and the guy's like, okay, and the pedophile bill, they're like, John, we told you to stop coming here, and then one day they were like, you know what? I admire your persistence.
Yeah. You know what? If you promise to never show up ever again, we will change the age of consent.
We'll give you the age of consent law.
Yeah, just stop bothering us.
So I don't know if this one totally goes with my theory, because I guess if you had no laws, but I think the idea is in the libertarian society, they kind of still have, they just make their own, it's more localized what the deal is.
Sure. But I don't know.
I don't think anyone.
I don't know if this abides by the do no harm principle when you're a pedophile.
Right.
Yeah. So
non-aggression principle, I guess. Right.
Yeah. So I don't know about that. But wacky shit going on in Germany.
Germany's the hub of wacky shit because they have so much. They have like white guilt times like 100.
Yeah. They have in
oh, we're so guilty.
Oh, we're so bad.
And they go, if you're not a bigot, you'd let them fuck kids. Oh, whatever you say.
Yeah.
Take our kids.
Lots of weird sex stuff in that country.
There's a college, and this is a Christian college, but I looked into it. They do still get some federal funding and stuff like that, and the grants come in. So a lot of these places where they're private colleges, it's like you look a little further, and it's like they're still getting some fucking. They're on the dole a little, right? Yeah. But they go, Rhodes. This is actually hilarious. So the Rhodes College chaplain tries to hold unsanctioned BDSM workshop, but it's a Christian school, right?
Yeah, but it's a chick.
It's a chick.
Yeah. So that's instantly goes pretty liberal Christian.
But she's like a chick priest.
Yeah.
And she's holding a BDSM ceremony. They shut it down, by the way. It didn't happen, but she had the flyers out. She had the event on Facebook and stuff like that, and they shut it down. But so basically, what was happening is she wanted to do, the kids walk into class, and she's just getting choked by a belt, and everyone's like, oh my God, Miss Chaplain, are you okay? And she goes, that was just a test. I was showing you the dangers if you do not safely do your BDSM procedures. Now, everybody, sit down, class. Today, we are talking about how to submit to your dom.
I mean, who was more into BDSM than Jesus Christ himself? Up on that sexy ass cross.
Nail me in there, you
fucking nails getting whipped like a dirty little fucking slut. Like Chaplain, Jesus Christ! What are these regulating bodies? Who regulates these people? Like who made her a chaplain? Because I know we have coming up like all these. There's been so many weird rabbis lately, and it's like you're like who fucking.
That was my favorite rabbi. Is fucking CNN. They were doing an article in a piece, but basically it was kind of like even rabbis are saying that Israel needs a ceasefire. And they cut to the rabbi, a trans rabbi.
No, it's a chick with the John Fetterman goatee. Like just like the big goatee.
Look, even rabbis think this. You go,
yeah.
I don't know if that's.
They're really making rabbis different these days. The clergy.
I don't know if that's totally representative of what rabbis think.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Even the rabbi agrees. That showing what the rabbi's thinking it's her would be the equivalent of like you brought your girl to like couples therapy and I was the couples therapist, and you go, look at even the therapist is on the dude's side.
Yeah, see? Really? These are what therapists are now. Huh? You go, yeah.
That's so fucking funny though. The trans rabbis with a goatee, and he's like, on behalf of the rabbis, everyone's like, buddy.
Yeah. Okay.
Pal.
Do a little more work on that beard before you call yourself a rabbi, all right? Just
do rabbis not have beards?
I mean, they generally don't have those weird.
I feel like some of the hardcore Jews aren't even against female rabbis. Period.
Fuck yeah! Are you kidding? I didn't even like female rabbis is a new thing.
Yeah.
That's a newer thing for sure in general. And then the funniest thing is like that's who the spokespeople are for all the. I mean, it makes sense. This is all gonna be chicks. Really.
Okay, I've got one for you. A priest and a trans rabbi and a boy walk into a bar.
Okay.
And the trans rabbi says to the priest, "Hey, after you're done fucking him, you mind if I read him some books?"
Not bad. Pretty good.
All right, that's something.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Hey, if you're not, he says to the boy, he goes, "Hey, if you're not fucking him, well, then I'm reading to him."
Let's not let a good kid go to waste.
I prime him up. He goes, the trans rabbi says to the priest, "I set him up, you knock him down." So this BDS,
how hard is it, you think, to be an ordained minister? How much work goes into that?
I don't know, but whoever gave this chick or the minister award, whatever you get,
this is maybe
probably
why.
wants to
This
take
is
it
maybe
away.
why they made them celibate, because like they probably tried not being celibate, and they go, yeah, we took away the whole celibacy requirement. Now they're running BDSM workshops, fucking week 1. Back to celibacy. That's what happens. Give an inch, take a goddamn fucking 100 miles.
Thou shalt have safe words. Listen, everybody, I just want to talk today about thou shalt submit to the Lord, to your dom.
To your dom.
Today, we will be learning how to squeal like a pig. So the whole thing got canceled, but
That's a shame. I wonder, was there a lot of interest in it?
BDSM 101 workshop. I'd rather you do it with me.
I guess. Is BDSM big?
Listen, the kids are gonna. I'm doing a Jewish voice. I don't know, a Christian voice. The kids are gonna do it anyway. Yeah. I'd rather them do it with me.
Sure. I mean, she's not.
Everybody,
It's not terrible looking.
Okay, but it's like old. It's old school. They have the apple. They have the apple and then the belt on their book. But then they take the book and throw the book away. And they just use the apple and the belt. They put the apple.
What are you gonna do with that apple? It's going in your one end. Don't worry.
Everyone bite down on the apple.
Yeah. Do you think she like does the thing where she's like wearing her like priestly robe and she goes, "All right, it's like." She's got like the fucking leather daddy chick outfit underneath.
Welcome to the Lord's BDSM class.
Damn, man. She needs Jesus more than anybody.
Y'all need Jesus.
She needs Jesus. That's for sure.
Yeah, pretty nuts, right? But even more nuts than that, there's speaking of the religious people, evangelical Christian furries are worried that they're being targeted for their faith.
Oh.
So there's in the furry community, the furries that are Christian are sort of like, we're not fucking gay freaks.
Yeah, we're not gay freaks. We're straight freaks. We're just mascot enjoyers.
But this article So a lot of the people that are writing about this are just like saying the straight Christian furries are like the privileged furries, right?
Yeah.
And so they're sort of saying they need to beat it because they're not recognizing their privilege in the furry community, sort of thing, right?
Okay.
Christian furries are worried that people will come after them for being Christians. Christians in the furry community are cautious about who knows about their furry and faithful selves. So they're living like sort of a dual life because the furry community can't know they're Christian and the Christian community can't know they're furry, right?
Well, luckily you get to put a mask on, so fucking full helmet.
Right, but the other way it's not working because some of the other furries found out. They go, "Hey, John, sit down." Everyone's at the furry meeting and they go, "What the fuck is this?" And it's a Bible, right?
Right, yeah. And there's like, "Stop pushing your bullshit on us. We're furries." And you go, "Well, you can be a furry."
I wasn't. Yeah, he's like, "I wasn't pushing on it," but it's like,
"But you're all going to hell if you don't accept Jesus Christ." You go, "Yeah, we know we're going to hell. We're furries. Obviously, we're going to hell."
and I hope we do go to hell. That's why I wear the suit. I like being hot.
Yeah. I love just sweating all the time, just uncirculated air. Hot.
The furry intervention is fucking getting me though. The idea of the 9 furries sitting them down, like, you don't want to be a polar bear anymore. It's too cold for you. It's like, what the fuck is this, man? I was your furry partner, man. We shared a costume. Now I gotta find out that you're just trying to pray our gay away. Because a lot of these guys are gay, right?
Yeah.
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 The one straight furry. Sort of a lonely life being the one straight furry. All alone.
Yeah. I thought you know what though?
Probably a lonely life being the few straight furries.
No,
Or the
they probably clean up because all the chicks are like all the chick furries who are probably like they're probably all gross, but they're all very like sexually fluid. They'll kind of just do whatever. So you kind of like when
You think they're cleaning up with the
I think when the chicks are feeling like a little straight vibe or whatever, then the dudes are just mopping up. But what problem is
mopping up?
But this is like the classic inefficiency though, where the moment that guys start hearing you go, there's a lot of tang to be had in the furry community. Then all of a sudden, all these dudes are coming up with like these like crudely made paper mache fox helmets. You go, you didn't even try, man. And they're just like there just for like
furry coming through.
Furry, we're all furries, huh? Where's the ass at? Do I gotta bang him with the costume on, or is there a slit in it, or some kind of flap? What is the deal? Either way, I'm proud and happy to be a furry. Welcome, other furry friends. It's like just things falling apart. It's like you didn't even put any thought in your fucking costume.
The old school furries are fucking definitely hate the new pledges.
Yeah, the new pledges are all showing up with like just like value or like Goodwill like mascot costumes that they bought from like some guy who's
He's
like
got a masquerade mascot.
Yeah, exactly. Like eyes wide shut shit.
I'm a fox. Yeah. All right, Fox coming in. Hey, what's your name? Hey, hey, what are you doing later? The old school furries are in the corner smoking a cigarette. Like, look at this fucking shit.
Yeah, ruin it for the rest of us.
This guy's not even gay. Here, this motherfucker goes to church. Yeah. This is the only church I
The only church.
the only church. Yeah, the only church I need is the furry convention. That's my church, pal.
Yeah.
So the furry community, so the Christian furries started out by saying that they're worried that they're going to get doxxed by their Christian identity because the furries are largely secular. They say.
Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine if you're like a church goer and then people find out that during the Saturday night what you're doing is fucking furry shit.
This is the real double life. This guy's living more of a double life than a guy that has like 2 families.
Yeah.
You're going to church on Sunday, like, and night before, and the pastor standing up there being like, thou shalt not sin, and you're just sitting there like some feathers still on you from last night's rally.
You go, and a couple of like feathers come out. You cough. You go, what?
I was just knee deep in a guy's ass at the furry rally.
I blew a raccoon last night.
So these furries are the normal ones, and they're like, these other freaks are boning dudes.
Yeah.
They're sort of the love of the game, which they are the more, because the ones that are just like all around freaks, like I'm pansexual, bisexual, whatever it is, these actual normal guys that are just straight up furries, they actually are in it for the love of the game. Like what? I respect furries. I like dressing up like a costume. It's almost like a cosplay thing for them.
Yeah.
That's their Star Wars
Wouldn't that
convention.
be a mascot though? I feel like mascotting is like
You're right. If
you're a straight dude who wants to wear, you're
You're
become
right.
a mascot.
Just
Just go find the local like single A baseball team and just volunteer as their mascot.
be a mascot.
Yeah,
Although if you volunteer for like a kid's team to be a mascot, that's a little sus.
that's sus. Yeah, unless you're doing like
Get in line.
Get in line. Yeah. Really? I tried to volunteer to be a kid's mascot. Just every slot was full. In demand.
The type of people who adopt furry personas often identify as LGBTQ, and they have to deal with legal, personal, and moral attacks from Christians. I don't know about legal, but who wield incredible power. So they're saying the Christian conservatives are very powerful, and these Christian furries who have the kind of privilege the rest of us could only dream of want to come to this community in order to evangelize. Well, they don't want to evangelize. They're trying to keep it on the DL.
Yeah.
And they have the audacity to whine about how hard things are for them. So this article is giving it to the Christian furries, right?
Yeah.
They're the top of the privilege hierarchy. Well,
they're doing something that they know is, I guess, against their.
they're sort of like the Jews of the furry community, right? Because they're in their mind, they're like, we're oppressed, but in the furries' mind, they're like, you are the
you are. You're
privilege.
the oppressor. Yeah.
Like many Christian conservatives, its members believe that engaging in same-sex marriage is wrong. Having homosexual feelings alone is not wrong. Furries who disagree with this stance can still join. They just don't want... So basically they're saying, listen, having the homosexual feelings is fine. You just shouldn't act on them, right?
Yeah.
But there's nothing gay about being a furry. That's what their sort of thing is like. There's nothing gay about this.
I mean, literally or figuratively, yes, there is.
Shop talking furry costumes, nothing gay about that. And they say they love gay people as long as they don't do anything gay. That's what they're paraphrasing what they think.
Yeah.
It's the same policy many evangelical churches have adopted in order to distance themselves from anti-LGBTQ extremists, even though it's hardly any better. LGBTQ people and their allies know exactly where the church members stand.
Yeah, I don't. This is not a crossover.
I'll tell you what.
Like, I think if you're a furry, isn't like anonymity kind of like the part of it? Like, just keep that shit to yourself. I guess a lot of Christians.
They were trying to.
Yeah, I guess that's the problem with the Christians is they're like, they love Jesus and he's so
They
sick.
wrote an article being like, we're tired of living in the closet as a Christian.
Yeah.
And they're saying, well, you think that's bad? We're living in the closet a Christian and a furry. And
But that's part of being like a lot of Christians is they're like so sick being a Christian that they're like, I just want to share
this
it.
is how they act out.
Well, I want to share it with people, and then they go and they start sharing at the furry convention.
No, they're not. I
they're
think
not
you're
sharing.
misinterpreting.
Oh, they're
this.
not sharing it.
They're petrified that their Christian identity comes out.
Oh, right. Yeah, I got you.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
They know the furries aren't going to take kindly to that kind around here. By the way, you look at society right now and you talk about bugmen.
Yeah.
Compared to these people, we are Bob Vila. Like, this is some of these the guys that be furries. They're the type of guy that, you know, you might say that you're not the best at changing a flat tire.
Sure.
I bet you if there's a furry convention and they get a flat tire, they all get out and they just start taking pictures and put the car on Craigslist. They go, it's broken.
It's broken. Just abandon it. They
go, well, that car's
They just
broken.
sign over the title and just walk away. They go.
What are you doing putting it on Craigslist? You go, well, yes, it's broken. I don't know if you saw.
The only thing they can do is maybe like mend their furry costumes.
If they go, hey, you can just change the tire. They go, hey, if the new owner of this car wants to change the tire, that's his prerogative.
It's between him and his God. You go, what'd you say about God? You go, nothing. That's just a phrase. I don't believe in God. If anything, I believe there's no God, and I love being a gay furry. That's it.
You ready for this one? Mm-hmm. This is some mean copy from our friends at Manscaped. Mary Ballsmas. From our boys down at Manscaped. This is a product for the fellas. The holidays are approaching. But what if I told you that the celebrations are starting early this year? It turns out the perfect gift does exist. Great gift, by the way. And who else to bring it down the chimney than the leaders in below-the-waist grooming? Keep calm and let your balls jingle this season with Manscaped's brand new Performance Package 5.0. The 5.0 has arrived, featuring the new Lawnmower 5.0. Watch all your wishes and mistletoe kisses come true. Look nice when you're going naughty by going to manscaped.com and using the code BOYSCAST for 20% off and free shipping. Unwrap the gift of smoothness this season with Manscaped. The Performance Package 5.0 Ultra is the ultimate bundle for the man who deserves it all. This is a great gift if you don't already have one for yourself. You know, it's also a great gift to just tell someone, like, you know, tell the chick. She's always, if you're the man that's hard to shop for, just say, get me the Manscaped 5.0.
Manscaped, the whole kit and caboodle.
You're right. It not only is a good gift to get someone, it's a good gift to tell someone to get for you.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, and then tell them, well, also tell them to use the BOYSCAST code.
That do.
The gift of Manscaped doesn't stop there. The bundle comes with 2 free gifts: Manscaped Boxers, the Premium 2.0 Premium Underwear, and the Shed 2.0 toiletry bag, which I actually use when I go on tour. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code BOYSCAST at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. Use the code BOYSCAST. Manscaped. Get your jingle balls ready for the holidays. Now, cold turkey may be great on sandwiches, Daniel, but there's a better way to break your bad habits.
How?
Well, there's a certain bad habit that everyone probably knows what we're talking about that you want to get rid of. Well, I'm gonna tell you what it is. We're not talking about some mind voodoo, if that's what you thought I was talking about,
Nope.
from your crazy neighbor, and Lord knows you have a lot of crazy neighbors. We're talking about our sponsor, Fume. They look at the problem a little differently. You know, not everything that's a bad habit's wrong. Going to the gym, that's not a wrong bad habit.
Nope.
Grinding, just on that grind 24/7,
No.
not necessarily a bad habit.
No.
So instead of drastic, uncomfortable change, why not just remove the bad from your habit? Now, me personally, I was partaking in a certain bad habit, maybe more than I should have.
Sure.
Not anymore. Fume is an innovative, award-winning flavored air device that does just that. Instead of vapor, Fume's got flavored air. Instead of electronics, Fume is completely natural. And instead of harmful chemicals, Fume uses delicious flavors, and it does taste great. You get it. Instead of bad, Fume's good. It's a habit you're free to enjoy and makes replacing the bad habit easy. Your Fume comes with an adjustable airflow dial that is designed with movable parts and magnets for fidgeting, giving your fingers a lot to do, which is helpful for de-stressing and anxiety while you're breaking the habit. Tastes great, feels cool, looks cool. We got real wood, cool shape. A lot of people in New York popping around with these. The ladies go wild when they see you with the Fume. They say, what is that? Can I take you home? Yeah. You got to try the new Solano Fume. It's made from premium walnut barrel. They go, what is that, oak? No, it's walnut.
No, stupid.
Yeah, you know, you idiot. It's walnut. And an onyx-coated mouthpiece that is slightly softer finished. Start the holidays off right with the good habit by going to tryfume.com/BOYSCAST and getting the journey pack today. Fume has given listeners of the show 20% off until December 1st when they use the code BOYSCAST to help make starting the good habit that much easier. Start the good habit at tryfume.com/BOYSCAST to save an additional 20% off the journey pack today until December 1st. So you got to go now, and 10% all year round. So kind of on the topic of the stuff we're a little bit talking about, someone sent me, because I guess it's like Transgender Awareness Month right now.
I thought that was every month.
Well, what?
A remembrance.
It's Transgender Remembrance Month.
Yeah.
And well, that's because they're sort of saying that a lot of them die. And I guess every time people do the stats, it's like, well, it's not actually true. It's kind of like a false narrative.
It's actually less. I saw someone post about it, and they actually ran the numbers, and they're actually being murdered at a lower rate than.
Yeah, it's like a total fake thing.
Well,
right?
it's just, we've said it before, but you go, what, you expect 0 transgender people to be murdered? Like when people get murdered, like you expect to, you know, like every group has people who get murdered in them.
Well, yeah, and a
like
lot
to
of the
say
times-
to say like, hey, like we have like our requirement is we can't ever have one murder. Like every group gets, obviously they're all bad, but like.
But I think that even, yeah, you are correct. And I think that a part of it also is that, like, yes, again, like, people shouldn't get murdered, but you go, a lot of it is a higher risk lifestyle. Like, you are probably more likely to be
they're
murdered.
actually getting murdered below the average, like below their actual rate.
So maybe I'm misinterpreting it, but what I'm misinterpreting is, like, one is they said they were, like, murdered for a hate crime.
Yeah.
That was the numbers that I think you're looking at.
But they say all of them are hate crimes. You can't murder a transgender person and it not be a hate crime, I think is the deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyways,
yeah.
that isn't even really why I was bringing it up. I was more just bringing it up that someone compiled a list of all the days and months.
Oh.
Because, you know, people always
yeah.
like, people always sort of say the joke, like, oh, another month. Like, oh, these guys need a month now. These guys need a day.
Yep.
This is how many they actually have. Okay, so Transgender Awareness Week, they have. Trans Day of Visibility.
Yep.
How do they ever slip in a new one after they have like 4 and they're like, what about a
How
visibility?
do they get it? How do they get these on the books though? Like, how do you even get a day started?
I don't know. How you
Like,
get a
what's
day
the process
started.
if you say, hey, we need a new day? It's like we have transgender.
Small dick day if you want it.
Whatever, sure. They go, how do we get who?
Sure,
what
you heard that, people?
What,
That's a quote?
What council do you go to? Micro Penis Awareness Week. Who do you go to?
If you wanna get your day.
Hey, I want to start an awareness week. The government?
I think some of them are official and some of them are like everyone just got on board with it.
But I mean, like, you'll see a lot of these things are like the governments will recognize.
Well, I'll tell you what, Argentina president's going to rip them down.
But like a government will.
The day committee.
Well, whatever, this transgender.
Know who I actually think you go to?
Yeah.
The day man. Oh. You go to the day man.
Yeah.
You have to knock on his door and he has like a propeller bow tie and stuff like that, and he's sitting in his office and he's facing the other way.
Yeah. You go, hello. Knock, knock.
Okay. So you ask me. You have to tell. Yes. What would you need?
Hi, I am worried about transgender people, and I think we need a transgender awareness month.
I thought you'd never ask. That's what he says.
Like, is it government? Because like Trudeau did a whole statement.
What brings you to the office of the day man?
And you gotta give him a little tribute, like a little.
And you go,
Here's a glass of breast milk
See-
from my wife.
did you bring me my offering? And you go, yeah.
You take a sip. He goes,
Double D-
delightful.
No, he takes a sip and he goes, C cups, I presume.
Yeah, he goes. C cups, big areolas.
What brings you to the office of the day man? And you go, I know we have the Transgender Awareness Month and the Trans Day of Visibility, but I feel like something's missing. I've had a thought like that myself. What do you have in mind? Then it's kind of like the Wizard of Oz sort of thing. He's got a lot of cranks.
Yeah, a
and-
lot of cranks. A lot going on back there. But I mean, like Trudeau, like did his thing about it. So
He's
it's must be
petting
official.
a cat that's half cat, half dog.
Yeah.
It's a creature. I've been breeding these myself. So they also have Bisexual Health Awareness Month. That's that one's just like we're here sort of thing,
Bisexual
right?
people, yeah.
Well, it's awareness months are good because it's just like we're here, right?
But again,
we exist. Lesbian Awareness Week is just
they only get a week, huh?
yeah, they get a week, and it's just a week of people walking around bumping into. It's a fucking week over here.
Hey, I'm bisexual. Oh, I'm lesbian over here.
That's a lesbian one. It's like like everyone just has their catcher's mitts on and stuff like that. They're like, hey, it's a fucking lesbo week.
Yeah. I don't know. It's
Lesbo week.
lesbo week.
International Day Against Homophobia, Biphobia, and Transphobia. So they have to share.
That's only a day.
I'll tell you what, it's a good day to be asexual phobic. And you go, look at this fucking A-boy.
Hey, boy.
Hey, look at this asexual. And you go, hey, man, that's asexual phobic. You go, hey, I didn't see no day.
Yeah. Look at this agate over here. Huh? Get out of my way, agate.
That's so good. Call asexuals agates. Holy shit.
I'm coining that.
Danny's on fire.
Agates.
Agate's incredible. Asexual. Holy fuck.
New slur dropping, everybody.
New slur just dropped. Agate.
I think it's the new tonic. Chris Williamson's like, don't.
It's not an official endorsement. We just have a
Yeah,
bunch
not
of-
official. It's just a friend.
Holy shit. Egg is fucking good shit, man. They have Pride Month, International Non-Binary Day, which is in between two. It's a bit of Wednesday, a bit of Thursday.
You know,
It's not really binary.
starts at noon Wednesday, ends at noon Thursday.
It's funny to have the International Non-Binary Day on a binary day.
It's like it's crazy though. Like, how do they go? Like, they must have some, be like, we want a week. Obviously everybody wants a month. Month is the top. You don't get more than a month.
Is fucking nice.
Although
dude.
I'm sure there'll be like transphobia awareness quarter coming up soon.
I'm sure the other people, like, if you try to get your, like day, and the people come up like, listen, we're gonna start you off with a day.
Yeah,
it's like listen. I'll tell you what I can do.
See how people take to it. All right.
I'll tell you what we can do here. We're gonna start you off with a day. Possibly talk about upgrading to a week.
yeah. If people are liking it, and then we'll maybe consider.
Gotta be honest here. You're asking for a month. I see you as a week.
I don't know.
The guy's like a real straight shooter. The guy who does the days and weeks and months. Gotta be honest, talked with the boys. I see you more as a day. And then the guy goes, I was thinking about a month. Guards! But okay, I'll take the weekend. The offer has expired. No. Leave the breast milk.
Yeah. Do you have do you think it's like the like a Godfather style, like on the wedding? That's the wedding day is how you get these. You got to go to the trans Godfather. And he goes, what can I help you with? Goes, sir, I represent a very discriminated against community pansexuals, and currently we don't even have a day. And he goes, I'll get you a week.
And what are you going to do for the family?
Never forget what I've done for your group.
The trans godfather. The godmother. Just a mafia guy with a beard, with like a fucking...
Yeah, it looks like the rabbi.
Yeah. You got pink hair and shit.
Yeah.
I'll never forget.
He goes, currently we have an opening October 20th to 27th. I can fit you in.
Now listen, you're going to have to be sharing a day. He goes, half a day.
Yeah.
I can't make up your mind. I can't make up my mind which day, so I'm going to give you 2 days. For bisexual, ironically, they have a lot of bi days because they have another bisexual day, National Coming Out Day. Well, like you didn't know that. Yeah, every day that day comes up, and you go, this year. Every day, Danny looks at fucking bisexual National Coming Out Day on the calendar. One day.
This year is gonna be the year for me.
One day, and then it's the next day. And
what day is National Coming Out Day?
Well, let's find out. National Coming Out Day.
I really actually...
I like you don't fucking know. Look at Danny playing. Yeah. Well, what month's that one?
I guess it's April 26th.
Okay, we're going to find out. Page not found. What day is National Coming Out Day? Okay.
But I just want to know.
They took down the article.
Oh.
It was a today.com article. What day is...
October 11th.
October 11th.
Oh, it just passed.
Next year. You'll catch him next time, slugger. Intersex Awareness Day.
Oh, shut up.
International Pronoun Day, also in October. Spirit Day. Which one's Spirit Day? Do you know what Spirit Day is?
No.
Okay, we're about to
These are all made up. It's like International Jealousy Day. Like, it's just fake. Jealousy Awareness Day.
Spirit Day is an annual LGBTQ awareness day observed in the third Thursday. It's the third.
They don't even have
the third harvest of October.
Okay, so this actually
started with a Canadian teenager, and it was initially created in response to bullying.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like sort of don't bully gay people day.
And then they said it's during National Bullying Prevention Month. Okay. Which is, if you're a bully, best time to do bullying is during.
They don't expect it.
Yeah, nobody's like, free and clear, no bullying for me, and then you go, boom, not so fast, nerd.
Pansexual Pride Day. They also Do you think the head honcho is getting like payola, like a little something under the table?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe some shirt manufacturers behind this, just the shirts they crank out for these things. I don't know.
Now we're talking. So a trans rabbi was incredible.
Did you see the this was one of my favorite things, was because basically all these like chick rabbis have become like the face of like the ceasefire movement, like on the Jewish side, because obviously they need these, like, you always want like the people like who you think would be naturally be against it. And then they brought all these like rabbis to Washington for this, like they did some sort of like whatever, the reading the Torah kind of thing. And it was all like chick rabbis and like, but they're like, see, all these rabbis want to do it. And they were reading this like section from the Torah or whatever. And then there were these sections that they were during what they were reading that said literally it goes, and then like Abraham promised the Jews Israel, which is like literally goes against their whole thing of saying like it's Palestine, right? Because everybody's saying like, the Jews have like no claim to it. And so as they're reading it, the chick's like, she's like reading it in Hebrew, and then she just starts like mumbling super quietly these two sections, and everybody's like, someone tweeted me like, do you hear this? Like literally the moment that they started, she realized she's reading the part that like goes against essentially what she's saying, they go and then they go back.
What did it say?
It literally says like, and then God promised Abraham the land of Israel for the Jews, like in the Torah.
Okay.
And so then,
what part goes against it though?
Because they're saying the Palestinians, because like the whole debate
I
is
don't get it.
Because the whole debate is everybody goes like the Jews like were not promised Israel, it's Palestine's land, and then some rabbis go, well, no, it's like in the thing.
Oh,
and so,
you're saying this was Palestinian rabbis?
No, these were Jewish rabbis who were pro-Palestine.
That's the part I was missing.
Yeah. They're calling for a ceasefire, being like, no, we got to get out of there, like, and give them their land. So then they're reading this thing, being like,
and then she tried to graze. That's what I messed up.
Yeah, and then and then she's just like, as she's reading these parts that like basically go against their whole thing, she goes, just mumbles it a bit, and, like really quiet. Like you can watch the video on Twitter, like she's like goes super quietly. She's like,
Do you know what? I want something crazy. I saw. Okay, so with the Osama bin Laden stuff.
yeah.
Oh, he's been so hot right now. We mentioned last.
So hot.
NPR, and a lot of these places don't know what to do about it, right? Because they want to be sort of, they hate being on the side of the activists. Like BBC, who likes being on the side of the activists, they just did a award show, and people were doing a lot of Free Palestine stuff, and then they got rid of it.
Oh, really?
It was like the first time at an award show they've ever got rid of an activist speech. You know what I mean? But I just thought it was funny because NPR did this article about the Osama bin Laden videos on TikTok, right?
Yeah.
And they go, TikTok's been aggressively removing hundreds of videos discussing a manifesto, and they sort of explain what happened. Then, this is what NPR said about content that was offensive on TikTok. However, there were only 300 videos using the hashtag Letter to America. They garnered only 200 views by Wednesday, according to TikTok, an estimated 1.6 billion users for comparison.
Wait, it's 200 views or 200,000? What's it?
300 videos,
or
2 million views.
2 million views. Oh, okay.
Yet after a tweet on Thursday afternoon, social media, blah, 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 the hashtag jumped to 13 million. My point is, have you ever seen NPR in response to any "there's hate on the platform" say, well, I mean, it's only
it was not that bad.
That is, I was like, I kind of agree. Like, it's not who cares? It's not the end of the world. I'm not like need to censor all this stuff, but it is just so funny to watch them sort of dance around. These are the people that if there's one guy in his basement with 4 followers saying, like,
they read a whole article saying like, and then it's
rampant.
They go, people on TikTok are starting, and you go, what? This one
the
guy?
amount of articles NPR have done about a guy that had 40 views on a video saying white men are superior,
right? Yeah, and they go, it's running rampant,
and they go, it's only 13 million views. I go, keep that same fucking energy with anyone else that's
zero chance. My favorite thing is TikTok started
with Elon Musk tweets. Keep that same energy.
Yeah, no shit. But TikTok started banning all the content from the Letter to Americans hashtag. But then for some reason they also included the dancing Israelis hashtag. So they deleted.
Oh, they slipped one in.
So they just were like, we're also deleting anything that is dancing Israelis hashtag. For people who don't know, on 9/11 there was these 5 Israeli guys who were caught like dancing basically, and people think they're like Mossad agents. But it's so funny because obviously
just a jam came on that they love.
Yeah, and then the tower
what
started.
Is love? Baby, don't hurt me.
And then the tower started to fall or whatever. But then just like, because obviously all these conspiracy people, this is like conspiracy domain, and then now they're removing these from TikTok. So all the conspiracy people are probably like,
of course,
heads exploding. Like, why?
Like that.
Why are you removing the dancing Israeli hashtag?
Why'd they slip it in?
I don't know why. I don't know what.
Did you hear Jonathan?
9/11.
Jonathan fucking Green Pussy.
with the snowflakes and stuff.
Can you come up with something better? I hate that guy.
Yeah, it sucks.
Jonathan Greenblatt had a leaked call.
No, I didn't see this.
So basically his deal, he goes, we have a massive massive Gen Z problem. This is not a right problem. This is not a left problem. This is an age problem. And he was saying basically what I said, where they've lost the youth. And he goes, we need to pay influencers. We need to get people out there.
I think I said.
He's basically saying like, we need a propaganda campaign for the youth. And it was just like, I'm listening to this being like, you stupid motherfucker. He still can't realize that it's like, you started this.
Yeah, you're doing this. This is
you
100%.
And you go, why have we lost the youth? It's like, you didn't lose the youth. You actually got them really on board with your shit.
Yeah.
It's like, I swear to God, this guy is brain dead.
No, he's so stupid. He just never realized that. He goes, the thing that he missed the most was just making Jews white, and there's whole stupid DEI hierarchy bullshit. He was pushing nonstop. You go, they do believe your stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
They just think you're white.
Yes,
that's all it is. That's all they can't grasp is like all the Rappaports.
Get
and
that
all these
guy
people,
out of there.
They just don't get it. They go, people just think you're white.
They're on board with everything you said. They just do not see you as a protected class.
They just see you as a rich white guy.
They're on board. I mean, obviously we've said this, but listening to that article, I was like, Jesus Christ.
I'm still willing to accept the position of head of ADL, by the way, if anybody wants to give it to me.
You know what else? Okay, I'll just want to say something, because we had a pretty good numbers on our Marvel videos and stuff like that, the one we did last week, and a lot of people were talking about it. But one of the things that was, I don't normally respond to like that much comments or whatever, because you can go crazy.
Yeah.
But sometimes there's a comment that like pops up a bunch of times or whatever, and it was like there was a few people being like something along the lines of like white guys against diversity or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was just like, the funny part was that. And they were mentioning Black Panther, right? Like a lot of people were saying like, well, why did Black Panther, if diversity's bad, why does Black Panther do good kind of thing or whatever?
Yeah.
And it was just like, and I was just like, how do you explain this very simply of my point?
I mean, one of my favorite movies is Life. I don't know.
This is same problem, same concept in comedy where you go, ladies, people, the three biggest action stars maybe in the world are black.
Yeah.
Will Smith, Denzel, The Rock.
Yeah.
Like those might be the biggest box office numbers. You go, no one is saying like when Black Panther, when Black Panther came out and when Black Panther came out and it was a big hit and everyone's like, see, black people can be action stars. You go, the biggest action stars are black. It's like, everyone likes a good fucking black action star.
Yeah.
Black dudes fucking kick ass at like lots of shit.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like, it was never about black dudes. It was like these people tried to pretend it was about black dudes. Like, you don't want a black guy in a movie. And everyone's like, love black guys in movies.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
Black guys
I think they're just mad because it's
killer at action.
And even the chick thing, you're like, wasn't Barbie like the biggest movie of the year?
Well, yes, exactly. It was just like this
Barbie movie was the biggest movie of the entire year.
I just always think it's so funny when they're just kind of like,
well, because they're full of shit.
Yeah, but it was just so funny, like accusing people of like being afraid to have a black guy in a movie, and you're just like, who is?
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
What planet are you living
on? What planet are you living on? Everyone knows Denzel's the fucking GOAT.
Yeah, of course.
And there's,
I guess I don't.
I mean, The Rock's not like totally black, but he's somewhat black. His dad's black.
Yeah, his dad's black.
He kind of Rock sort of swings both ways, I guess.
Yeah, he can be he's a tan guy, but
technically he's black.
Yeah, for sure.
Will Smith, I don't think that's arguable that he's as big as it comes.
Mean, it's foolish. It's like Bad Boys. Nobody was one of the biggest franchises. Chris Tucker,
everyone loves that shit.
Yeah, like Rush Hour is like a Chinese guy who barely speaks English and a black dude. You're like, is that not enough diversity for you? Like, how much do you need?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Well, I guess no women.
Yeah, but my point was, it wasn't about anyone saying, I mean, we're not that big into talking about this stuff, really. But when it's a big one, we usually talk about it because I'm not a big movie buff or like a video gamer. So I don't really, I'm not really in deep in that world. But it is just so funny, like the accusation of that. And then there's I'll just say one other rebuttal.
Yeah.
There's this girl that comments on basically everything we do, disagreeing with us.
Okay.
Probably more me than you because I have a little bit more spicy red pill takes, which is usually the fucking...
Yeah.
And it's not... This is obviously like a enemy because they obviously listen to the podcast and they were funny, but it's like, I just want to say, I always kind of say there's a lot of times people will go...
Do you want to address her straight to camera?
No, I do not. Because this isn't me. It was more me saying it was just... Because I've talked about even productivity and stuff. A lot of times people sometimes think that they have it more figured out than they do.
Yeah.
So we were sort of saying that in that clip about the famous actress or that said men don't get their bodies made fun of. Who was
Billie Eilish? Billie Eilish was saying that men.
And I was like, they obviously do, small dick, short, whatever, million things, right?
Yep.
And then she goes, I never agree with female celebrities, but the chick who said women don't criticize men's bodies because women are too nice is half right. She's right that women, the majority, don't criticize men's bodies, at least not to men themselves, but she's wrong about why. It's not because women are too nice. It's because women know that the male ego can't handle that kind of criticism if a man becomes aggressive over it. That's a big problem for the woman. And it was just like, whenever you're kind of being like, they're wrong because of this, it's like, just immediately think to yourself, you go, okay, well, now do the other side.
Yeah.
And you go, why do men not tell women that they're disgusting to their face? And you go, well, you could say
I do.
It's not. Yeah, you could say it's not because they're nice. Yes, it's because we live in a society.
Yeah, exactly.
And people aren't
You're like,
psychopaths.
Yeah, it's like crazy.
So yes, any normal person knows that. And you go, well, maybe, I don't know about handle criticism, but like, if your girlfriend puts on 60 pounds, everyone's going to be a little delicate about that, or you're being an asshole. A girl, and you go, and then she goes on to say, before you guys argue with me, be honest with yourself. If a woman genuinely liked you, told you that she found you to be physically gross, and said you had a below average penis, how would you respond to that? And it was just like, and now, to my point, do the other way.
Yeah, sure.
If a guy told you...
both of your tits look weird and they're not the same size.
It's like,
yeah, you wouldn't say that.
Yeah, and it was like, these rebuttals, you just go like, yeah, okay, good point.
But they live in
to my point, the other way around.
But she lives in
Tell your girlfriend that you hate her new haircut.
Yeah, but she lives in this fake reality where she goes, yeah, all guys do that. Like in her mind,
you know
it's
what
like,
I think?
Like she runs these scenarios in her head where this stuff's actually happening.
I'm going to give her a tiny bit more credit than that. And I think what a lot of girls do, from my experience, is they see the world through their own, like, they extrapolate on their specific thing to everyone. So a lot of times it would be like, I had a boyfriend to do this, but I don't do this.
Right.
I'm all women, he's all
sure.
men. So I think a lot of times they have, well, I'm like this, so I'm all women, and that guy is all men.
Right.
And I think it's a little bit of that, but they go, of course women don't like hearing similar painful truths about themselves, but unlike men, most women are already acutely aware of their flaws. Plus, whether it bothers them or not, they can't do anything about it. They can't beat a guy up unless they allow it or whatever, right? But she's basically saying women are all aware of their flaws. And the guy is aware that he has a 1-inch penis.
Of course.
So it was just like, her argument is it's not because it's nice, it's something else. Well, it is sort of because you're nice.
Yeah.
And the difference is once someone becomes a celebrity or you don't like them, you've othered them enough that you don't feel like you have to be nice. So people don't feel like they have to be nice to public figures, or, they
look at DeSantis in his shoes.
Exactly. People don't feel like they have to be nice to someone that they don't like. They'll be generous with their politicians and not very charitable with the other ones. So you go, the bottom line is and you know what? If you really look into it, you go, is there a big difference between how much men do it and women? I mean, it's probably not equal. Maybe it's possible that like men are a little more aggressive. I'd say it's also possible that men are a little more complacent, where they go, yeah, the wife's fucking gross, I just fucking given up on it. Whereas a girl might be more likely to sort of sit in that area of like, I deserve better in trying to actually solve it. Yeah. Whereas a guy might have given up more. So I don't know if you did all the math. I don't have the answer to which one does it more, but the principle is the same both ways. So no, I was not wrong. No. I was right.
Yeah. It's just nonsense. I don't know.
Yeah.
How many articles do we read from some chick writing into like Dear Abby being like, my husband has this problem, like what should I do kind of thing,
sometimes you get these, what you guys don't realize sort of, responses, and you're kind of just like, no, we do realize that.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think the answer is, I think that there's like a thinking pattern that some people have you want to avoid. It's like, whenever you're just looking at yourself, like actually extrapolate. And then also when you have an argument, look at the other side and be like, does this hold up the other way?
Yeah.
I think also that's like
generalizing is always wrong. Like if you like truly like, I mean, obviously it can be right for like a majority, but to just say like all these people in this group do this is like, that's obviously never the case. Like you have to be careful. That's always true, you have to be careful about that, because some people don't really, they'll just be like, they all do this. And you're like, no, well you're always wrong when you say that.
Agreed.
Yeah. So
I want to talk about this OpenAI thing. So
Yeah.
this was something that took me a while to figure out. I feel like I usually can figure something out, and I was kind of
I didn't
reading
know.
all the articles. That's why I
all of
messaged.
Twitter was like, because my whole Twitter was this whole thing going on, and I'm like, what is going on here?
Yeah, and I know I want to talk about it, so I was like, what the fuck is going on? So I can figure out what I want to, my thoughts on it or whatever. So I was messaging everyone, and we have some group chats with some like really high up people in like the tech world or whatever, and I was using every contact I had to be like, buddy, what's going on here?
what
You know
is
what I
happening?
mean? So this is kind of the gist of it as of today. Is they hired the guy. So basically, OpenAI.
They rehired him. They rehired him as the CEO, Sam Altman.
Right.
As of like 9 hours.
And so OpenAI basically fired the CEO. They have a board, and it's kind of this mix of profit and non-profit. The board
it was originally a nonprofit,
Yeah.
and Elon Musk was like the original, and then it became a private, for-profit, like closed thing.
which
and
some
then-
people were calling shenanigans.
Yeah, and then Microsoft is like, I guess, the largest shareholder or something.
And the board essentially, because when they fired him, I was kind of like, why? That's what I didn't really get, why.
Yeah.
And then when I talked to a lot of these people, a lot of people were like, well, that is kind of the controversy. No one really knew. Some people were saying they wanted to fire him because he has all these allegations against him.
his
Some people were
sister-
saying it's a
his
compliance
sister had
miss.
some weird
And some
tweet.
people were saying it's because of the board's being insane, right?
Yeah.
And then it turns out, they're saying after all said and done, it's the board being insane, and there's one girl on the board. And essentially, the really simplest way to put it is that the board is really, really safe.
They're just worried that because people say, hey, there's like a 1% chance that AI is going to end the world. Like they're going to basically create like a sentient AI thing that'll then be able to make like infinite replicas of itself, and then it'll like kill everybody essentially.
Yeah.
It'll be like end of the world.
And they
It's
think
doomsday
that's
scenario.
as high as 1%.
Yeah, or whatever. And I guess the board is like, hey, we're speeding towards this a little faster than we'd like.
Well, to put it the speeds in perspective, the guy on the board said he's going at a 10. I would like him to go at a 2.
Right. Yeah.
So that was like the cardinal.
and so I guess they couldn't agree on doing this.
Well, this guy's trying to run a company, and they're basically trying to slash his legs out every chance they got. And then
Yeah.
apparently that was going on forever. And some people are, that most of the people I've talked to are on the side of that the board is out of control.
Yeah, they just don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're talking about, I guess.
And this guy's like a kind of a golden boy in Silicon Valley, and people call him the Game of Thrones guy.
Yeah.
Because he had a Game of Thrones style rise, and there was another guy who was kind of like a progressive CEO, and basically he sort of like ousted that guy through a series of
Kind of
moves.
Yeah, power moves.
And then the real story is that Microsoft, basically this guy, within a weekend.
Well, because Microsoft's the biggest shareholder, so then I guess they mediated the thing because it was such a PR disaster, the whole thing.
Because everyone was basically on his side.
Everyone was his side, and like it, the people were like, without him, OpenAI is just worth way less. So like essentially the move incinerated like $60 billion of value or something. So then Microsoft, I think, was trying to just mitigate it by coming with some solution. Then they like took all these guys and they're like, they'll work for Microsoft now. That was like on Friday. Today's Wednesday, and then today they're like, you know what, he's back, and they're just like, let's just pretend like this never happened.
Kind of.
And they fired a bunch of the board.
But I think that everyone was saying like the way that Microsoft, like a huge company like that, the actual people in Microsoft were able to collect like 100 people and get them to sign was like the shark move of the millennial.
Yeah.
Like that's a very hard one to pull off in a big company like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, it kind of reminded me. So anyways, a lot of people I know are sort of on the board with like, of these guys are trying to fuck around with AI, and it was actually like, this is the thing that's going to solve this is the thing that's going to solve the productivity problems. This is going to solve everything. And these guys are just trying to put a wrench in it which also means like, well, someone else is going to do it. It just means like, China or whatever. Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's kind of just, it's not really an option to just be like, hey, like shut down this whole project. It's like, all those people just leave and go do it somewhere else.
Yeah, and you slow it down.
You're not
and
the
someone
fucking
else
government.
is just going to catch up.
Yeah, exactly.
Essentially,
right?
yeah. Like someone else is just going to catch up to you. So I don't know enough quite about it, but I guess they're like, let's just put a foot on the gas and just see where this goes. I don't know. I mean, like, it's a cool product. I don't really use it that much.
Well, they haven't really come up with a ton, but some people were telling me, Johnny was just telling me, like, how useful it can be for thumbnails and stuff like that.
Yeah, I saw someone posted on Twitter the first, like, basically looked like a trailer for, like, a futuristic like movie kind of thing, and it was
Okay.
all AI.
Yeah.
The whole trailer.
So
but
it's
it was
moving
but
fast.
it was video, yeah.
Well, what do you think about that? Do you see any, like, are you kind of thinking that it might be moving a little faster? What side are you on?
That I don't know about. I mean, again, I'm generally would rely on the people who know more than me.
From
I
the
mean,
sounds of it.
our friends don't think so.
No, our friends don't think so. And from the sounds of it, there's a big difference between being cautious and just like fucking cutting the legs off of this thing completely.
Yeah, I honestly don't know that much to say, but like having used it when it first came out, I was like, oh, this is sick. It seemed like something I would use a lot. And then it went to something that I never used.
I've seen a few girls ruining AI tweets.
Yeah, but it went to one of those things where I don't know. I stopped using it. I don't. So it's hard to say. There are some cool things like Shkreli made some weird.
He's really not happy about this. He goes, "This is the pussiest." Firing that guy was the pussiest move that's ever happened in the history of.
Well,
he's
the accelerationist, so he wants this stuff to crank the acceleration.
But he was very aggressive in his
EACC.
words.
Yeah, he's the guy who's like, let's step on the gas, and they want full like whatever AGI or whatever that like. So I don't know. It's Shkreli showed me this website he has of where it's all these people and you can mimic their voice. Like you can basically make them say whatever.
Good for scamming.
Yeah, good for scamming. Well, did you see there's like this? I saw this video of this crazy scam, AI scam. This guy was a lawyer and he got a call from, he thought it was his son, and what happened is
I did know.
You see that? There's this new scam where
I told you that last week.
Oh, you told me that last week. Oh, maybe you saw. Yeah. So
That's hilarious.
I mean, it's the scams are going to
me
get
some
crazy.
hot thing you heard it was me last week.
No, well, I saw the video a few days
Get a
ago.
load of this fucking. No.
I actually saw the video. Are you talking about the guy who's like
He has new information.
testifying? Like the guy who's like the lawyer who's like testifying?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'd never seen the video before.
I'm just fucking with you, dude.
Okay.
Just fucking gentle ribbon, man. Between friends.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Just fucking messing with you, brother.
Anyways. It's
Fucking yanking your beans, dude.
yanking your beans. I don't know. Yeah.
Well,
We'll
the
see.
G move sort of reminded me because I finally watched Blackberry movie.
Good solid flick. Solid flick, huh?
He wasn't confident in saying that.
No, it was good.
It was fucking awesome.
Yeah,
it was so sick.
Yeah.
It's the best movie I've seen in fucking a while. And you know what was so it just reminded me because the CEO of BlackBerry went and poached like the guys from Google, the top engineers, because that's like these top engineers. It's kind of like, what we say in comedy or whatever, but it's like it wouldn't be that hard to be like, hey, here are the 6 best people in the world, put them in a thing to make a movie. Like if you were just
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna give this guy $10 million, you really can do that. And the engineers, it really is these guys. He gives him $10 million, backdated the stock options, and then he went to he got fired for it and everything, right? SEC was on his ass, right?
I remember back in the day, my ex-girlfriend, she had a family friend who worked at BlackBerry like in the heyday.
Yeah.
And this was like, because we went to Guelph, so we were super close. That was when Kitchener,
Buddy.
remember when Kitchener was Silicon Valley
this thing
North?
was so nostalgic for me.
Oh yeah, and everybody's like Kitchener, Silicon Valley North, and all that stuff. And there was the whole deal where everybody was just like, every person who worked at BlackBerry, like everybody knew some guy who just had $25 million, $50 million from stock, and then it all went away.
That was the first thing I lost money on, is that stock. By the way, so the other guy that got
is
out,
nostalgic. Yeah.
the other guy that got out early is one of the richest guys. I swear, do you know when you
Yeah,
watch?
he was gonna buy
do you know
an
when
NHL team.
You go watch wrestling every now and then, or if you watch it on TV, and like they bring out Hulk Hogan or The Rock or Cena or something, and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
That's how I felt
how
every
it
time they did a new phone. Like when the 7900 came out, I was like, let's fucking go. I was like, I remember the 7900 coming out,
Yeah.
and it just like changing the world and being this. Saw the guy and it was a status symbol. I was like, the 7900 was the game changer, and I still had one of those too.
Yeah.
That because every time my old phone, I tend to lose phones a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember in university, I would lose a phone every day, and I'd always go back to the 7900 for a week in my interim. I was rocking that one.
Oh yeah, the brick breaker.
Oh, that was such a brick breaker, dude.
The brick breaker game. The little slide wheel.
That was the best game that ever existed on a phone.
Yeah, it's funny because you could be playing that every day now, and you don't.
What do you mean I could play it every day?
I don't know. I'm sure it exists on the iPhone.
So the iPhone doesn't even have the ball.
Yeah, it doesn't have the ball.
I'm playing brick breaker without a ball. What are you, an idiot? The ball was so
I like
sick.
the brick breaker with the better one with the side.
I'll tell you, side
wheel.
the
The brick breaker with the side wheel.
Fucking getting me hard, dude. Trying to get me hard over here. I'll tell you what. When I was watching it, one thing, because I was a big BlackBerry guy, right? I was right about so much shit too. Because I remember being like so many times talking about like I could pinpoint the downfall, and they would show in the thing. Like when the iPhone came out and they're like, we're going to do ours. The iPhone's gonna be nothing. We're going to do our screen, but you press the screen. I remember that being like, what the fuck is
Dude,
this?
I remember my friend.
The hell's this shit?
My friend Ryan got that phone. And he was trying to be like, because he was a BlackBerry guy, and he goes,
He's trying to
And it was when the
stay with
iPhone came out, and everybody's like, this iPhone thing's amazing. He goes, yeah, check this.
I
out.
held out forever.
I remember, and he got the where you press the whole screen, and I remember looking at it, I was like, what the fuck is this?
Buddy, they started coming up with like weird ones. Then they came out with the World, which was better for traveling, and then you had 2 BlackBerries for a while. They started to get wacky, man. They messed with a good thing.
The problem
they had 60% of the market share of cell phones at one point.
I know, and the problem is it was the best phone by far. And then
So
the
sick.
problem is everybody was so just like loved the keyboard. Remember, everybody's like, I could never not have a keyboard. Like that was such a thing, and they bought into that thing where they go like,
I bought into that.
well, they go, yeah, they're like everybody just needs a keyboard.
Still
like,
is better.
I don't know. I don't,
dude,
if you gave me a keyboard right now, I'd be fucking hitting the wrong buttons nonstop, mashing them. It would take me a while to get used to going back to the keyboard.
I would put a blindfold on,
yeah.
and I could write a shooter manifesto from front to back on memory.
Really?
With my fucking, I have them all memorized.
And what was it? The BBM.
BBM.
BBM was actually
dude,
pretty.
The hose in BBM.
Yeah.
People talk about. There's these guys having Snapchat. They'll never know what it's like to fucking. I'll tell you one thing. There was years later when I remember me and my friend were looking at there. It was Adam Knights. We were one of the last 2 guys to have a BlackBerry.
Yeah.
I just had a BBM graveyard. 400 contacts, 3 currently active.
Ugh.
I remember looking at that and I was just like, it's over.
Yeah.
And I just went, took the BlackBerry.
Oh yeah, and I forgot about one of the
buried it.
Yeah, I forgot one of the main issues with the BlackBerry is that their whole deal is they're like to save money. I didn't realize it was to save money.
I remember the outages. I remember the
'cause
outages that happened in the movie.
Yeah, so I don't.
That movie's
I didn't remember at the
Rodrigo,
time.
our buddies, like a main,
and,
pretty big guy in it.
Yeah, we have a few friends who are in it, Laura, but I didn't remember that.
Yeah, Laura's in it.
Yeah,
that movie's awesome.
Yeah, wicked movie, but that they needed to. I didn't know it was to save money. Is why all the messages went through Kitchener. Like, because they say that's the only way that they could do is all the messages had to be routed through.
Yeah, I didn't know
their
that
servers
either.
in Kitchener. I just thought that was like a security thing, but it turns out it was literally just like the only way is like.
I didn't realize the extent to which the phone companies have sort of like a hold on everything.
Yeah.
Where it's like, what phones come out, you got to get the phone companies on board to sell them for you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because they're at the time they were the biggest distributors because you always bought. They were like subsidized and you very rarely just bought a phone for cash.
Yeah, it was a great movie. Highly recommend.
Yeah.
But it kind of got me thinking about a lot about like productivity because they were sort of one of the things was they were in the movie they basically had the one guy that was like the fun guy, and a lot of people are talking about like personality highs right now.
Yeah,
that guy's the richest guy because he got out.
He was trying to buy a second. He tried to bring
he's the most rich guy in the world.
Yeah, he tried to bring a NHL team.
No. You're talking. No. That guy doesn't have the money. That you're talking about the guy trying to buy the NHL team is the guy who.
Jim Balsillie.
Who the SAC took out.
Oh, I thought Jim Balsillie.
No, there was 2 guys that started it.
Mike Lazaridis and Jim Balsillie.
I think Lazaridis.
He's the super rich Loki guy. He's not the NHL guy. He's not the bald guy. Not the guy in the movie. He's the old gray-haired dude.
The third guy.
Yeah,
I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
The guy who was his wacky buddy. You watched the movie?
Mike Lazaridis. It's the guy who Jay Baruchel played.
No! What's wrong with you?
Who's the third guy?
He wore the headband. Are you out of your fucking mind right now?
I can't remember this. I haven't seen the movie in like
fucking nootropic screwing up your brain?
Yeah, no.
You've watched the movie. He's a main character. 2 guys started the BlackBerry.
Oh,
him and his buddy.
The guy from Nirvana, movie.
And then his buddy was the fun guy.
Gotcha.
And then he was the guy. And then they basically brought him.
They're the one who kicked him out. They kick him out of the company.
Well, no, he quit because basically they took down the foosball tables and everything, and they're like, we got to get to work.
This dude. Yeah, he's the guy from Nirvana, the band, the movie.
Now that you know what I'm talking about, are you aware that it was crazy that you didn't know what I was talking about?
Well, I don't remember him from like when BlackBerry was a company.
No, I don't remember that.
Like when BlackBerry was like a famous company.
I don't.
It was the 2 guys.
Yeah,
yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But anyways, that guy was making it fun, and then once they stopped making it fun, apparently
then he bailed. But you're saying that guy's super low-key rich.
That guy's the richest one because he was like the third partner that had stock in it, and he cashed out at the peak.
Gotcha. See, I'd never heard of that guy.
The other guys cashed out at fucking a shadow of their older selves.
Gotcha. I'd never heard of that guy before the movie.
Do you know what BlackBerry stock looks like?
Yeah.
It's a never-ending fall. It's like a bad dream.
I don't even know what is that. $5 right now.
You're falling down a well and you never hit the bottom.
I remember it came back for a minute.
No, they keep reverse splitting too, so it's a fucking.
Oh, it's $3.64 right now.
That's not true though, because they
I know.
reverse split 100 times.
Yeah, it's down 99%.
It's a bad stock, my friend.
There's some people still holding out too. There's probably some real bag holders on that who are just like, it's turning around, BBM's coming back, baby.
You're holding a bag of 7900s. I think the only thing they sell is the reason I watched it is because I went to Irvine and that's where their headquarters is in America. Right?
Oh, okay.
It's like a fucking shack.
Yeah.
It's like
it's
like literally like it's in the back of like a bicycle shop. It's like the headquarters of BBM.
Don't they make? Don't they make like what do they do? The security software for like cars or something now? It's
They have a WeWork desk.
just a corner at a WeWork. Damn.
Yeah, they pivoted to make some weird ass shit, and then also I think they probably still sell some phones in like India and shit.
Sure.
They sort of service some of the old ones.
What if you can get like a new in box, like a 7900 or something on eBay?
You probably
Dude,
can.
they just sold, I think, on an iPhone.
I would like to have that in our studio.
Dude, an iPhone 2G just sold like an original iPhone, like new in box, just sold for like $140,000.
You know what I would like? A 7900 belt buckle or the Curve. I'd have like a Curve, like a BlackBerry Curve as my belt buckle. That'd be nasty.
Oh, the Curve blue.
Well, anyways, when I was thinking about productivity, I think the one thing that, and I was talking about, I went to dinner with Matt Sancombe, and we were sort of talking.
Oh, the Curve. Oh no, the Curve was a solid phone. Here you go. Here's
no,
one.
Curve was like the sort of the main one.
New in box BlackBerry Curve, $8,900, $12.
Order it. Order it.
Oh, they have a lot of them.
Order a 7. I don't want to. Order like one of the big ones, like the World or the 7900 or something for here.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, these are the 7230, the blue one. Remember that one? Oh, it was the blue one.
Oh yeah.
Like it was the one that had the color screen for the first time.
That was just the smaller one. Yeah, the 7900 was the bigger one.
Yeah.
The 3200. I had a 3200.
And then the 9700. That was the last good one. Was this one?
That just looks like the Curve.
Yeah, but it was just like a little more techie and like a higher resolution.
That was the
screen.
last good one.
Yeah, that was the last.
Okay, maybe people are bored with this, but I'll say my last point before we go. The point that I was saying was because I get a million emails a day, being like, can I edit videos for you, this and that, and it was just like the biggest thing that I think people don't realize is. And it's just like everyone's so like lazy that it's so easier to just be a cut above.
Yeah.
Like if you wanted to be a guy that you're like, hey, I want to make videos for a guy or whatever, right? Like, oh, I'm good at clips. I have a clip company. It's like, just do one.
Yeah, just do one.
Just like go to a guy. I mean, I can think of things that I've done that I've gotten, jobs or work. It's all from just doing the thing first.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you want someone to hire you and you go, do you have any examples? And they go, nope, but I'll be great.
No, they have examples of other people. But the problem is, as soon as someone sends you, here's my portfolio, now you have to interact with them and you've given me a chore, which that is now on my to-do list to like go back and forth with you or whatever, right? As opposed to someone goes, you skip the whole thing and be like, hey, here's what I made for you. Here's what I can do. And then you go, okay, you know what? Maybe go try another one. Yeah. And then that one's good. And you go, okay, you know what? Do 10.
Yeah.
And then you go, actually, I'm going to give this guy something bigger. Just give yourself the job, whatever you want to do. So many. Yeah. And I think that it's like a entrepreneurial thing. It's like you don't have to. You don't have to ask for permission to do something. And yeah, most people will say no. But it's like, it's just. I feel like there is right now.
I mean, if you're really good, you'll definitely find.
But people
a way
and sure. people do so much of like the version of like, hey, I have an idea. Let me just email a bunch of people, and you do fake work. Like you spend so much more time doing fake work, which doesn't get you anywhere because no one. Yes, if it's a big numbers game and you're hiring someone for $1 an hour to do cold calls and your business is like a total scam, fine. But for most people, it's like just do the thing, show the person what you could do for them, and
do something
because. Then the reason for it's like I think a lot of people don't realize how busy some people are, but you go the last thing someone wants on their plate is a chore, and you go give them something where they
don't have to do anything,
so there's zero cost.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if there's
and
cost,
time is a cost. Like it's not
having to reply to your email is a cost.
Yeah, money's not the only cost.
Like even there's so many people where I go, yeah, I'd maybe try like have that guy try something, and he goes, I go, that seems pretty good, but it's like. you haven't fully done it yet.
Yeah.
You're asking me to reply to you, then you're doing it. And I get that that's their sales pitch, but I feel like it works the other way around. Where it's like, just do the thing.
Yep.
It's like so many times you go, so like, even if it's like so many people have like a website or this and that, they go, hey, this is what I can make for you. This is what I made. You go, all right, that's pretty good. Go do it.
Yeah.
As opposed to this. And then you go, I don't know what you would make now, but good
But now
chance it's
just-
bad. And I've spent
now
time.
I'm getting roped
Now
in.
that this random email just cost me half an hour.
Yeah.
And I think so many people, it's like in so many things, it's like probably works in fucking like relationships or meetings or whatever, right? How many people, like let's say a girl and a guy on a date, right? It's like you're talking to a girl. One option is you're like, hey, we should go out sometime. And now it's like, she's like, okay, now I got to talk to you. As opposed to being like, hey, I know you work here. There's this restaurant right beside there. I booked it for Thursday. We should go because I know that's a good day for you. And then afterwards, I know you like this and we're going here. And you're just like, oh, you've set the whole thing. Oh, yeah, that sounds good.
That's
It's
easy
like,
to do.
Just take the one. So many people, it's like, you end up working so much harder if you don't just take that one extra step to just finish the like
And just be
pitch.
and understand that you're like, yeah, it's not nothing for me to start talking to you all day about this thing.
It's not nothing at all.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so I think that's just
good
like
advice.
such a little thing that like at work, at anything, it's like, it's the difference between being like, I want to have Friday off and then give it, your boss is like, okay, so I got versus, hey, I talked to these 3 people. They might, if any of them would be, if that's okay with you, these 3 people would be able to do it for me, and not, you didn't half-ass it where, you know, the boss actually thinks that guy's worse. So you're, it's like, it's the difference between like, I'm coming to you with a solution, not a problem.
Yeah. And also don't
And a potential solution is not a solution.
don't pitch us sketches that cost $50,000 to make.
Yeah, well, the sketches, the one reason why taking sketches people pitch is not good. It's like, because you end up with the same problem as SNL or Babylon Bee or any of these places. It's like when you have 100 people working there that aren't big, it's like, well, they all just end up kind of stealing.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's more the sketches
what
where
you
someone
end up-
like these crazy high concept.
No, I know, but when you end up taking people's sketches, when people send you sketches, like most people don't realize the extent to where it's like they're basically sending you something they kind of saw somewhere, or it's kind of public domain. That's what a lot of these places that hire like 50 writers, it's like impossible. You end up like making stuff that's like already been made because you don't.
I mean that as well, and
because you
also
don't-
like
you
it's
know-
just so hard to pitch something in someone's voice. Like you might be like, oh, the premise is whatever, but you're like, it's not something I'd make or whatever.
No, and I guess those places, yeah, there's that of course too.
But it's so funny. We're like, look, so all you
But
gotta
I think
do
the
is just like
main-
hire Wayne Gretzky for a day, rent out a rink, and you're like, do you know how much money that's gonna cost?
Boys, patreon.com/theboyscast. We actually have
We're almost at the Bugman. Let's get there.
We actually are the closest we've ever been to doing our Bugman versus Bugman eating competition. But we also do an extra episode every week, which is this week. I actually have a ton of shit that we. This one will actually be a banger.
They're all bangers, Ryan.
Sometimes they are better.
Yeah,
I would
they're all
say.
bangers.
I'll tell you one thing that they are is there are some things when I'm like, oh, you know what? It's like this might be better, but I'm like, I don't know if I necessarily want to go so public with this point.
Sure. Yeah, that is a real thing that people don't get. Is we save the real spicy stuff
There's a little spicy.
with a paywall.
But also, it's a good way to support us. And I appreciate a lot of people, a good way to support a podcast to keep us going and keep adding stuff is to either support the Patreon by one of the ads or something like that, because that stuff helps. But
Yep.
I appreciate
tell a
it from everyone.
Just
Tell a friend's probably the best
tell
one.
a friend. Be like, hey, these guys are wild.
That's actually the best one, is just tell your buddy the
Yeah, tell your buddy. You go, hey, you're not looking for a good podcast? This is a good podcast.
Someone left us a review that they go, I stopped listening because of Ryan's take on the skate guy.
Which skate guy?
The guy, also leave us a review. The guy who I said,
good ones.
I don't think that the guy on purposely tried to kick the guy in the neck.
Oh, yeah.
I told you it was my spiciest
It
thing.
is the spiciest
People were
thing.
not happy with
Yeah,
me.
I still don't. I've had a lot of people message me about that too, being like, I still think it was like dirty, but not. He didn't try and kill him, and he got arrested too.
We're gonna lose more people here.
He got arrested though. For
No, I know,
manslaughter.
but that's I mean,
Crazy.
People that I think that they should have done inquiry or whatever. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, I guess. I didn't think he'd actually get charged.
I sort of did. I thought it was already, when I was talking about it, I thought it was already like on the docket.
Yeah.
They were already like investigating him for manslaughter.
Yeah. Weird.
Manslaughter, a lot of times you don't do that. You do a couple weekends too.
I don't know about We'll see what happens with that. All right.
Peace.